This is the D6 generation with your hosts, Craig Gallant.
No, cut that. Keep that. Someday it's going to be worth something.
Russ Wakeland.
You put me in an ATST with frickin' Wookiees attacking me and whatnot?
Now you're talking. And the Gen Con mob in the third chair. Oh! With contributions from Total Fangirl
Vampires do not sparkle.
and our loyal listeners.
Are you crazy? That's like 400 hours of gamer nonsense.
Welcome to another edition of Rapid Fire, the roundtable discussion of all things gaming. Coming at the speed of an underachieving teenager cosplaying as an anime character, pulling a wheeled carry-on behind them while periscoping Pokemon Go in the vendor hall at 10:01 in the a.m. of Thursday, the first day of Gen Con 2016.
What?
Today's edition is brought to you by the ladies and gentlemen who took time out of their busy Gen Con schedule to join us for this very special edition of D6 Generation's Play by Bob episode, The Mob!
Nice job, Bob. Wow.
Sort of scary.
Woo.
I'm Geekly McNardigan, your host. Today our panelists are Russ, fan of things he's actually watched all the way through, Wakeland, and special guest Nicole, fan of all things by definition, Wakeland. And you, the mob, fans of, well, at the risk of sounding egomaniacal, you are spending your first official Gen Con evening with us, fans of the D6 generation.
Yeah, I like these people, Craig. I like them.
That was total pandering. They felt guilty. Let's begin. Issue number 1. Whenever one travels, there is an unspoken point at which the inevitable question to drive or to fly centers. If one is coming from southern New Hampshire to the great city of Indianapolis, for instance, that point falls somewhere along the 966 miles between those two locations. An awful lot of points can fit into those miles. Russ would say an infinite amount, probably, but that's because he's better at math than I am. Question. Including all expenses incurred during the excursion, what is the total difference within reason, don't you dare look at this screen, of one person flying to Gen Con starting in New Hampshire versus sharing a vehicle with 4 other people driving? Rusty Wallace, Russ.
The cost of sanity.
Neil Bonet, Nicole.
What? I was going to say sanity. He stole my answer.
Mark Martin, Mob. Suddenly, they're not quite as impressive.
No.
The mathematical is approximately $120, but the right answer is it doesn't matter. After you factor in sleep, emotional well-being, so I guess sanity.
Yeah.
Yes!
To finish your Geek Nation Towards D&D adventure working on the plane, it's a no-brainer. You guys aren't wrong, but you're all wrong. Issue number 2. Each year, Gen Con gets bigger and bigger, and each year it knows it's getting bigger and bigger. When the D6G started coming to Gen Con back in 2008, that's some scary math right there, approximately 20,000 people shared the experience with us. Since then, using last year's figures, that number had more than tripled. This year, if projections are accurate, Gen Con will be bringing nearly 75,000 people to Indianapolis for the best 4 days in gaming.
Woo.
That was good. Question. If in 2008, Gen Con had, this is a word problem, 20,000 attendees, and in 2016 it will have 75,000. In what year will Gen Con reach 100,000 unique turnstiles? I'm riled up, Russ.
2020.
I'm feeling nasty, Nicole.
2018.
I'm downright mean, Mob. I'll give you partial credit. The answer is too damn soon. This place is the embodiment of chaos, and that makes you all wrong for even being here. It was so cool when it was only 20,000 people. Issue number 3. Anytime you're preparing a role-playing adventure, you must decide a story or a narrative to give the entire thing form and substance. One of the best places to seek inspiration for your stories is, of course, books and movies. And when your favorite author is Terry Pratchett and your favorite books are the Discworld novels, that makes the kind of stories you're going to tell sort of interesting. Question. Given the racial tensions in Bonk, the primary city of the mountainous region of Uberwald, between the vampires, the werewolves, the humans, and the dwarves, and the likelihood of a dynastic civil war when the low king of the dwarves dies and must be replaced at a critical moment in history when the tradition of the deep dwarves and the flexibility of their cosmopolitan city dwellers occurs, everything balanced on the head of a pin when a new load of what substance is discovered in the mines? Rhodium Russ.
Crystal meth.
That was so New Hampshire.
Vermont, really, but who's counting?
Neodymium Nicole.
Mountain Dew.
Mercury Mob. Unobtainium. Partial credit to you.
Good answer.
The answer was fat, of course. In the time before time, there were originally 5 elephants holding up the disk of the Earth on the back of Great Atuene the World Turtle, but a catastrophic celestial event knocked the 5th elephant out from between Atuene and the disk, sending it in a terrific parabola and slamming it fatally into the disk. right on the Uberwald Mountains ever since the dwarves have been mining its vast formations of fat beneath the mountains. Makes perfect sense if you think about it.
It does.
Issue number 4, pet peeves are terrible things that haunt our days and plague our nights with phantom violations. Everyone has them. These things that are particularly annoying to you, although some people are more adept at hiding them than others. Some of us don't even try. Some of us, in fact, are quite famous for their little bête noirs. Question, what is my particular bugbear for Gen Con 2016? Misfolded road maps, Russ.
Attendance is too high for you.
Noisy eaters, Nicole.
Gigantic backpacks.
Missing manners, Mob. Polls. Well, it is a tough one. Last year, it was definitely people using Periscope as they walk around the vendor hall, bumping into other people. Before that, there was the cosplay with giant bits and pieces sticking out and no awareness of those pieces. This year, I was told it was actually going to be Pokemon Go in the vendor hall. And although I did watch a friend of ours, Justin, who's here for his bachelor party, try to catch a Pokemon in the street last night and walk off the sidewalk and twist his ankle, mostly I'm just getting amusement out of that sort of thing. However, I did trip over 2 extraneous wheeled carry-ons being pulled through the vendor hall by people who could clearly have held them like a little bit of a briefcase. So that's going to be a return of an old favorite. And don't drag your luggage behind you in the vendor hall. That's it for now. Thanks for listening and good night.
This episode of the D6 Generation is brought to you by
Battle Foam, protecting your army so you don't have to.
And the War Store, bringing the war to your door since 1999, and that is for a decade or more.
Hello.
Hey, and welcome to episode 195.
That sounds like it should be something special,
That is a big number.
but it's not.
Of the D6 Generation. I'm Russ Wicklund.
I'm Craig Gallant.
And I'm Nicole Wakeland.
That is a
Gen
most
Con
impressive mob, Craig. we
People
got
are
this here.
standing, Ross.
We are
They're
the
standing. It's standing. It would be standing room only, except that there are chairs. They just don't want to use them.
I was going to say, it's one of those awkward
I
times.
blame the
when you
guy in the
come
back
late.
there who has like the
Right.
aisle seat. He didn't want anybody else sitting next to him.
So we are live here at Gen Con 2016. This is really exciting with the mob here. We're so happy to have you guys here today. Taking time out of your busy Thursday evening. You could be drinking beer someplace right now.
Clearly.
So this is very, very nice of you to come. We're excited. Today, of course, we're going to talk about all things Gen Con, achievements in gaming, go through all that. We're going to have an interview later with Matt Wilson and, of course, the coveted, highly anticipated play-by-mob event here in just moments away. Very excited. But up first, we need to thank all of our patrons over there on Patreon. Do we have any patrons in the audience tonight? Woo! Thank you. You need to shout. It is an audio medium, so patrons, let us know you're here. Hey, a good crowd of them. Thank you, guys.
Like the ooh.
That was good. Ooh. So without the
Stands out.
patrons, this kind of stuff wouldn't be possible. Like
Would
getting
not,
ourselves down
actually.
here,
Like all
having
the
all this
stuff that
fancy
Russ
equipment,
spent 20 minutes trying to set up that didn't work.
wireless
None of that would have
microphones. Right.
been here.
Right. Paying for this room, all that stuff. Thanks to you guys. It's fantastic. So thank you for all your support. The show would not be possible without you, so really, really appreciate that. What's the time now for, Craig?
It's time now for. Oh, I wish I had an echo board. Achievements in gaming.
See?
Nicole's playing some kind of game on her phone.
Right. Achievements. It's Achievements Unplugged. So there you have it.
I knew.
Achievements unplugged. She's breeding chickens, people.
I have an achievement.
Very confusing.
What are you playing on?
That's my achievement. It's happening right now
It's
live.
All right,
not
we're gonna-
even a Pokemon Go. It's like
It's
this
not.
chicken
Don't
breeding
even
thing that your
happening over
daughter
there.
just showed her.
So we're going to go out now for
This
Achievements in
Wakeland
Gaming this
clan
time.
thing.
We're going to like to ask at our Gen Con event here what kind of things are hot in each of the gaming categories. So what's cool right now in board games, what's cool in miniature games, and what's cool in other stuff you're seeing here at Gen Con. So Nicole's going to grab her microphone, and she's going to go out into the audience, and we're going to ask you, while she's going out, I'm going to ask Craig first. So when Nicole's going out, Craig, what kind of board games have you seen so far? What are you excited about?
Well, actually, I don't remember who made it, so that's bad because I didn't take any notes, like I said.
Terrible.
But there's this game that I played this morning that's called Vikings on Board.
What's that
Did
with the
anybody
boats?
see that with the
I
long
saw that.
boats? Okay, first of all, it's worker placement, which most of you will know immediately would knock me right out of the running.
Viking placement.
But I thought it was great because it's Viking placement.
It is.
Exactly. And it was really fast and it was really fun. I really enjoyed that. That is pretty much the only board game that I tried. I won't name names, but there are some poorly run booths this year where it's really difficult to get a demo. I tried to get several demos, and it's like those people. Okay, if you're listening and you're a manufacturer or a publisher of games, don't run full games as demos.
Right. Have you noticed this trend? So I want to ask the mob if you guys have seen this. So you got to be really careful about the bait and switch going on with demos right now at Gen Con. It seems like most of the demos are on oversized versions of the game. Have you noticed this?
Ooh, that is true.
So the Viking game is one of these.
It
so it looks awesome. It's like giant. And you're like, wow, all that for only $60. That seems like a deal.
$40 for the Viking.
And then
game.
you go look at the actual game, and it's like Micro Machines or something going on over there. And, the funny thing about it is the actual game actually is a perfectly normal size, perfectly good version of the game. Like Flick'em's this way, too, right? The Flick'em game, it's awesome, the super oversized version. And then you get the real version, and you're disappointed. I think you should just play the real version.
Right. Well, I will say the Viking game and any game that's not dexterity-based, for me, the big oversized game is just like a neat demo thing, and you're not really going to be impacted by that. If there's a dexterity element, like the Flick'em Up, it's a totally different game with the big, giant wooden pieces and everything. And I loved the game when I played it. And when I found out it was like little tiny wooden pieces, I didn't, that and the cost. But anyway, so that I agree with you that can be frustrating. It should be some sort of sticker warning.
So let's go to the mob. Raise your hands if you'd like to tell us what some of the board game hotness you've seen so far at Gen Con is. And talk right into the mic there for us.
And identify yourself, please.
All right. Matt Hall from Utah.
Hey, Matt.
And so today I stopped by the Stronghold Games booth and checked out Dragons and Flagons.
Ooh, what'd you think?
Oh, I heard I heard that guy. I heard that designer's way past his prime.
That's what I heard. I heard that too.
Yeah.
So
Jeff.
I watched the demonstration for about 5 minutes and immediately bought it. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Good.
I bought 2 copies.
Shh, don't let him know. Oh,
right.
By the time this goes out, you will have already.
Even having to have an interaction with Stephen Bonacore, I still bought them, and it was fantastic.
That says a lot about the game.
The components are what makes that game because it's basically a tavern brawl, right? But you've got like little tables and little 3D chairs and mugs, and it's check this thing out.
When I was watching, everybody started running away from one point on the board, and I was like, Jeff, what's going on? And he went, oh, yeah, that guy just called in a cannon strike from a ship in the port. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. That means you gotta buy that game.
Yeah, that's a must buy, right?
That's a must buy.
There's a pirate calling in cannon strikes from. Okay, good. What else we got?
My name is Andrew Brown, Portland, Oregon. I played Vast. It's a game where you can play as like the knight or the dragon, but you can also be the cave, and each one plays differently. And you have different objectives. So the knight is trying to kill the dragon's trying to wake up and then eat goblins. There's also a goblin player.
Yep.
So it's neat, and everyone in the cave is trying to get everybody into the cave and then collapse the cave. So
I was trying to. I can see how you get spiritually connected to like the dragon or the goblin. How do you kind of mentally get connected? Prepare yourself to be a cave.
No,
and you got nothing.
I played the dragon. So I'm not sure. I was Team Dragon.
Okay, fair.
So you did a demo?
I played the full game.
You did the full game.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I was told when I was talking to the guys at the booth was that it's actually 5 different games. Whoever you are is a totally different game from everybody else.
That's true.
And it seemed really, really neat. And it plays 1 to 5 players, and you can play an individual game, a solo game with anything but the cave. Apparently, being the cave all by yourself is not a good game.
No.
There is something about sitting in a dark room.
Who else there's got a game they want to tell us about? Nicole is heading over to a guest here.
We got a bunch of stuff,
coverage.
but I'm really excited about Ice Cool.
Ooh, that looks cool. So describe the game, Adam.
So it's a dexterity game where it's Ice School, but ice cool, and you're penguins in high school, I guess, covered in ice, obviously. And one of you is the hall monitor trying to chase down the other penguins. And the box is actually like Russian stacking dolls, and then they clip together to form the board, which has like doors that interconnect. And it's a dexterity game where you flick them, but they're like weebly wobbly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you flick them on the side, it's like curling and they spin and curl. Or if you flick them like in the head, they flip and jump over walls and stuff. And it's like a dexterity game, but with penguins, and it's Weebly Wobbly.
Cool.
Actually, I saw this game and I was really intrigued by it. And I think what makes it really, really cool is the idea that their bases are sort of these dome shapes that work like tops. So if you flick them just right, you can get that top activity that actually gets them to curve around. And the guys demoing the game are really good at getting these curve things going. There's a lot more to it than just flicking discs in straight lines. It's pretty innovative.
Adam's going to show you.
Adam's going to do a live. Here he is. See, look. See, there you go. So you can check out the Wibbly Wobbly Penguins.
Which is awesome for an audio medium.
Yes. It's a small green
For those
penguin.
of you listening at home, there's a small green object wobbling across
But
the
that is a cool one and totally unexpected. That's really cool. Who else has got a game they want to talk about?
Actually, you're a big guy. They'll be able to.
I'm Jason Harms from Detroit, and I played the Star Trek Ascendancy.
Ooh, how'd you like Ascendancy?
Yes. It was very good. I played the full game. Yeah.
Yes.
So
let me ask you this. So I have this rule at Gen Con I'm going to share with you guys now that I very loosely follow, which is to avoid buying everything, right? I have this rule where, I can buy these games at home mostly, so I'm only going to buy a game at Gen Con if there's some kind of exclusive, or it's like a Kickstarter game where you get some of the Kickstarter bling with it you couldn't get elsewise, or some kind of other reason to get it. So I was avoiding Ascendancy, even though there's a mountain of it over at the Gale Force 9 booth, because I figure I can get it at home. But I've been hearing rumors there are some exclusive things here that might make me break my rule or have to make me buy them.
You can buy space station upgrades.
See, that's
right
dangerous. And do they have the cool mat over there for sale, too? Because they have a cooler mat on display with the demos where it's bigger.
Well, yeah, they had a 4-player mat.
See, that's dangerous, too.
Yeah.
Now, can I buy these things separately and buy the game later, or do I have to buy the game to get these things, too?
I didn't ask. I didn't actually buy the outposts.
Yeah.
I just had to get
these
the
things
game.
get expensive, right? But they're awesome.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
You can buy the whole thing right
I'm resisting failing my resistance.
I did think about it, yes.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Cool. So Ascendancy it lives up to its hype?
Yes.
Yeah?
I really like
nice. Cool. Who else is like by round of applause, who's tried Ascendancy and likes it so far? That's one person. I guess Star Trek is past its prime. I don't know what happened there.
In all fairness, we should say this is only day one of a 4-day convention.
That's true.
So.
That's true. Okay, fair enough. Who else has got a board game they really want to talk about? Something new you didn't expect, or something you did expect that turned out as good, or maybe not so good. Maybe something we should avoid.
Hi, my name's Craig from Washington, D.C., and yes, and I would love to tell you about Scythe, but it was sold out everywhere, and I can't find a box to play.
Oh, no.
Does anyone
Scythe.
have a copy that we can play?
So I talked about Scythe a little bit the last show. A good friend of mine bought the Kickstarter version of Scythe with all the stuff in it. That game has got insane components and also plays really well. It's a little Euro-y, so I don't know if Craig would dig it, but it's got amazing components. It's sort of like alternate history, mecha stuff, fighting each other out. It's like really cool. The bits are amazing.
Yeah, I think there are 4 full blinged out Kickstarter
floating around our group.
versions going on in our group. Right
That's a very good game. But I guess it's already gone, right? Because it's super hot. Yeah.
Anybody?
Nope.
Did anybody get a copy of Seafall in here? No. I tried to get one for Russ, and that you got one.
You got one?
No, he's so eager to talk about
another game
something
topic
else.
though.
Apparently, my whole conversation.
We'll do one more, and then we'll move on to miniatures. Oh, talking to the mic. Yeah. So Seafall did sell out before 10. They only had 80 copies. So a story about Seafall. So I was in the JW Marriott walking in. This was yesterday, right? And there's a guy sitting there with clear plastic bags. He's got 3 copies of Seafall, brand new. I'm like, how did that happen? So I'm like, sir, where did you get those? He goes, I'm the designer. I just have these. And then he told me, he's like, so guess what? There's only 80 copies. They're being really cool about it. They're only selling it. They're not selling it to press. They're not selling it to other vendors. But the VIGs all got in there with only 80 copies, and it was gone because it's the hotness right now. But that's coming soon, too. But that looks really, really good. And they are demoing it here, so you guys can try it out.
Andy Rucker from Woodbridge, Virginia at the moment. Anyway, I've moved 5 times in the last 6 years. It happened.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Anyway, so the game I wanted to talk about is called Spearpoint 1943.
Ooh.
And this is by Brian Collins Epic War Games, the same folks behind Polyversal. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And it's a World War II themed card game. And so you have infantry units, you've got tanks, you've got airplanes, and then you've got a simple 2 dice. It's like a D8 and a D. It's either D10 and D12 or D8 and D10. I can't remember exactly from the demo. But anyway, so you roll those dice, and that's the combat resolution. And so it's really cool because there's like a Western Front version, there's an Eastern Front version, and there's a really cool expansion that's got adds like terrain and stuff like that. So you've got buildings that the troops can hide in and stuff like that. But it's very fast, plays in a half hour, and so that was sort of my unexpected impulse buy today because it's really neat.
Very cool.
I stopped by to talk about Polyversal and ended up getting roped into this thing.
Nice. Any other ones out there? Oh, we got good.
Yeah, so it's not available at Gen Con, mostly because he couldn't get it from the slow boat on China. But tried out Gloomhaven. It's amazing. It's by Isaac Childress. It's fun little dungeon crawl.
Yep.
Cool. They do have Scythe. They have 600 copies that will be released tomorrow.
Ooh, that's good. So what booth was that? Booth 2963.
600 copies of Scythe?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So there you go.
There's one of those as your name on it.
Right. Don't miss out on that. Very good. Okay, let's talk about miniature games now. So,
Russ, why don't you talk about some
I'll talk
miniatures?
about some of the ones I've seen. So you can talk also about things you're anticipating as well if you haven't played it yet, but you're excited to see it. So I did see. Anybody see Halo Combat Evolved or Ground Combat? Oh man, that looks sweet. The models are insane, and they have they've got a full painted set of pretty much the Warthogs and the Ghosts and Covenant and everything else. The Pelicans look amazing, and they've got magnets on all the stuff too. And the way the models are built, you can easily put magnets in there and swap things in and out. So Ground Combat looks fantastic, Craig.
That looked awesome. Did anybody here see the Big Giant Robots game by Weta Workshop?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know anything about it other than, excuse me, Alex from Geek Nation Tours found me and said, there's a miniatures game here where Weta Workshop did the miniatures. You need to go look at it. And I thought, okay.
Right.
And it's the models look amazing. What looks really amazing, obviously, a no-brainer, is the really cool displays that they have over there that all look like they walked right out of District 9 and Chappie, which they should. Mm-hmm. But it's a very cool sort of corporate battles game. This is a new thing, Gen Con, over the last couple of years I really don't like. It's where they're demoing games that aren't available yet. And then you get we're going to hope to kickstart this next month. It's like, awesome, so I'll be playing in like a year and a half. That's great. But the models look fantastic. It's really cool. And I was all set up for a demo, and then it took too long. But it's it's all card-driven, and then there's some dice, and all your damage is you're losing action cards. Mm-hmm. So you get more limited. You'd love it because it's like degrading you as you take damage.
Ooh, excellent.
So that looked really cool.
Great. Anybody out there
Nicole, did you notice
game?
anything miniatures-wise?
I wasn't ready. No, actually, I didn't even really look at miniatures games. We looked at all the odd little nothing booths, like the non-gaming booths with I was with her, and we got lots of stuffed animals. We got cute little stuffed animals. Like Julia, we did all the sort of associated stuff today.
Very cool.
Those are nothing booths.
Well, but not the gaming.
You know what they are? They're accessory booths.
Accessories.
It's all about the accessories.
So why don't we go out to the audience again? What have you guys been seeing for miniature games that you're liking, excited about? Talk close to the mics, too, because they don't pick up unless you're really close.
And speak loudly.
Hi, I'm
the mics don't help anybody else.
Ted from Orlando. All right, so I want to talk about Spartan for a second here. So I played the Halo Ground Combat.
Yeah.
The demo was pretty good. You can tell it's a Spartan game, which kind of worries me.
Uh-oh.
And during the demo, he even talked about how Firestorm Armada 3rd edition is coming out next year. I'm like, why are we already at a 3rd edition? What happened to 2nd edition? He's like, oh, we're still tweaking it. So it makes me terrified what's going to happen with Halo Ground Combat.
They do evolve the rules a lot, yes.
But it was fun. It's a ton of dice chucking, but it's 15 mil, which is awesome. It's Halo, it's awesome, so I bought it. So
you did? Are you already in?
I'm in.
I love how you started off with there's all these issues, but I bought it anyway.
Yeah,
because Halo, right? I mean, how do you? Oh, awesome. So I'm glad you liked that. That's great. Oh wait, before you pass the mic, what did you think of, since this is technically the modeling section, what did you think of the actual models? How do you think they look? How's the sculpt?
I mean, they're sculpted well, and they painted them really well, and the big, the Scorpion tank is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and the Spartans have a presence on the field, even at being 15 mil, so.
Very cool.
It was really cool. So.
Great.
All right. Hi. Michael Upchurch from Nashville, Tennessee. So this year I fell hard into Mark III War Machine.
Nice.
I've never played War Machine before, really. I played a little bit in Mark II, but very briefly. And they had all the new Journeyman casters out at the Privateer Press booth. So
right.
Phil.
I already got mine.
Yeah. They come with fancy pins, too. So, if you need a pin,
nice.
Real bad.
Now, let me ask you this. What attracted you back to War Machine about Mark III?
So, honestly, it was the new starter battle boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You get a 0-point army in there. You get the rule book. You get tokens. You get dice. You get everything you need to play. And it's like $40. My friendly local game store has like a 20% off discount as you buy, in bulk. So I was in there one day. I had 20% off. I'm like, $35. Why not?
Yep.
Started painting the models, played a couple games, and fell in pretty deep. So
Now, I've heard mixed reviews about the plastics in the starter boxes. What did you think of those?
Honestly, I've got, I think 3 or 4 of the starter boxes at this point. Like I said, I felt pretty
You're
hard.
still buying them, so apparently they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah, I have not had a problem with them. I know that the different colors, I've heard reports back that some of the colors may glue differently or not react as well.
Yeah.
As I've been painting them up, I can't really tell a difference.
Great.
So I've had a good time with it. I did want to plug a game whose name I don't remember.
Okay.
So if anyone saw this game out on the floor, but there's a ton of really awesome miniatures games out there with some fantastic looking figures. But there was one we walked past that it's fought at the bottom of the ocean, and they have these like shark.
Deep
Yes.
Wars.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
That was it. Yes, it looks phenomenal. I'm going to get a demo of it tomorrow, but it looks really cool. So
very cool.
If
So
you haven't
have,
checked that out,
like, is it futuristic or is it like diving bells type era or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, Deep Wars. Yeah. So it looks really neat. Yeah. They do. Yeah. So if you're a painter, go check out Deep Wars because it looks cool.
Cool. That looks great.
Other people with comments on models?
Joseph Owens from Portland, Oregon. I got to play my first introductory game. It was a scenario for Frostgrave while here on Tim Peasley's incredible Hearst Arts board. And he had a bunch of terrain that he created with new Hearst Arts molds that just look incredible. He's got like a new wooden beam mold and just incredible stuff. So if you get an opportunity, it's down in Hall B. Really excellent looking.
Nice.
board.
So the Hearst Art stuff with Frostgrave's a great match. That would be a great move because you can make whatever battlefield you want out of that. That's awesome. Yeah.
I've heard a few of you like it.
Craig is a big fan of Frostgrave. He's got all the bits.
I am.
This side of the room
I guess
apparently
so.
is
That's
not
a board
into the
game.
whole miniatures gaming thing.
Excellent. Any other miniature games you guys are excited about?
So I'm Matt from Vermont, and I didn't actually play it because I don't generally play games. I mostly just paint miniatures and do that kind of thing. But I did swing by the Robotech booth with the Robotech miniatures game.
Yeah.
And man, that table is gorgeous, and those miniatures look awesome. So
Yeah,
just
do.
speaking of like really cool looking tables, that's a pretty slick setup over there. So you guys should all go check it out.
So the Robotech models are awesome, and I love the new table you guys have set up there. There's like this huge sort of like, I don't know, asteroid sort of rocky thing going on there. One of the things that's intimidating about the best feature about Robotech, but also the most intimidating feature is, so any Robotech fan will tell you that the Vertitechs have 3 modes, right? You got your legs and wings extended mode, you got your full-on, humanoid mode, and then you got your full plane mode. So instead of actually transforming in the game, you get 3 different models per dude, which is awesome. 3 times the painting. That's the only downside. But they look fantastic. As a Robotech fan, I kickstarted the heck out of that game. It was awesome. I have all the bits. It's a great game.
Did anybody see the Blood and Plunder booth? It looks like a movie set. It's crazy. And then on top of that, they have a table where they nailed the Caribbean water is just unbelievable. I'm
really cool.
Very happy that I'm getting a bunch of those ships sent to me eventually for more money than my wife will ever know.
As Andy recognized, I just wanted to put a plug in for Drop Fleet Commander. Got a demo of that today, and that was a lot of fun. So, not really big into Drop Zone Commander, but I like ship games, and Drop Fleet is really good. After getting the demo, I'm feeling much better about the Kickstarter that I went into. Real big excited to see. So, right,
It's always good.
So the models look awesome. We knew that from the start, but the gameplay is actually pretty good. And so, really excited to get my goodies from that.
Now, I know you play a lot of space combat games. What appeals to you about Drop Fleet?
Couple of things. First of all, completely different setup. Instead of being deep space combat, you're playing in low to high orbit.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
so the map you're playing on is not a star field. It's a really zoomed out topographical map of a planet.
That's cool.
So that's yes. So you basically you're trying to get your troop carrying ships over cities and then drop either troops or armored units onto those cities to take them over.
Right.
So there's a altitude mechanic, so you can change altitudes. It's possible for ships to crash into the planet. They lose their engine power and get pulled into the gravity well. So that's really interesting. It's a different combat mechanic. So unlike Spartan games, which tend to be bucket of dice games, you're rolling somewhere between 2 to 4 dice for each ship in a lot of cases. At least for the demo I saw. I'm sure there's probably bigger ships out there that have more dice, but that's just what I saw today. So it's got a different feel to it, and it's got a different sort of setup as opposed to the deep space. It's an orbital thing.
Cool. Very cool. Any other miniature games out there? We'll move on to the final category, which, of course, is other. And in this category...
Or as Nicole calls it, nothing.
Nothing. So it can be about anything wacky. that you saw at Gen Con. It could be cool cosplay. It could be cool other stuff that's not gaming related. Or it can be even the movie that you wish you could watch right now, but you're at Gen Con. So we'll take that too. So anybody got anything? How about Nicole? Have you seen any cool cosplay yet?
No, there actually hasn't been that much of it. I mean, there's been some, but not very much. That's like a Friday, Saturday thing.
Yeah, it's a little early still for
Saturday
cosplay.
is when it goes crazy. You have to make sure you don't get your eyes poked out by somebody's wings.
Right.
I did see somebody who was dressed, and I know nothing about anime. I know nothing about pretty much anything, actually, cosplay wise. So I see cool costumes, and I'm just like, well, that's a neat costume. I have no idea what it is. I saw one woman who was walking around with normal clothes, and she was clearly a blonde who had a red wig on, poorly pinned, and I thought, I'm sure you're supposed to be somebody, and I don't know. But there was a guy in a Dark Lord, full-on, like, cinematic Dark Lord costume with spiky bits and everything, which looked really cool. And then it was very disturbing because a little girl walked up to him and gave him her stuffed animal. And the dad was like, no, you look like you're going to kill it. And I'm going to take it. So the Dark Lord's got this teddy bear, and I was taking a picture, and it was
disturbing.
I'm still shaking.
Matt Holligan. So how about the 20-sided rye? Anybody try that yet? The beer? Yeah, that was great. Yep, absolutely excellent beer. It was great. And then on the bottom of the cans, actually, I just saw on the bottom of the cans, there's actually it'll give you +5 charisma, and
Very cool.
I didn't notice that when I was drinking it, but I saw it tweeted, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Did you recognize people treating you differently afterwards?
Don Dehoff from Columbus, Ohio, sticking with the drinking theme.
It's a good theme.
If you've ever been playing a drinking game and as your mind starts to get fuzzier, you thought, hey, I really wish this game was more complicated, then Death Cup is the game for you. I demoed this last night with my buddy here, and it's really just quarters, but there's also dice that you can lose and wooden tokens that can get soaked with beer, which is pretty awesome. And a lot of people seem to really enjoy it, but it really didn't cover up for the fact that I still suck at quarters, which is which is basically what the game is. But if you ever wanted to add dice and tokens to quarters, then Death Cup is really up your alley.
Nice.
Anybody else see anything cool?
Will from Lyford, Indiana. When we first arrived here, I saw a little guy walking around, I guess about 6 years old, as Ash from The Walking Dead with the Evil Dead. Sorry, it was outstanding. Shotgun, chainsaw. It was beautiful.
Very cool.
Anybody else see anything cool?
This is Adam from Chicago. It's kind of board game related, but we did the Board Game Geek math trade this year, where you input all the games that you would be willing to trade, and other people input theirs, and you go, okay, well, I'd trade for that, I would trade for that, and they run a giant computer algorithm and go, okay, you give this person to that person, they'll give this to that, and they'll give that to that. We're ending up trading 9 games and getting 9 games back and trying to meet people all over the con. It's like a scavenger hunt where you end up with 9 new board games.
So did you end up with what you wanted?
Yeah, well, you can say, I will only trade this for this other thing. So
Got
we
it.
had probably our biggest trade was we had Above and Below, but we can get the Kickstarter version here. So we traded that away and we got Terra Mystica. And it turns out the version we got was an unopened copy of Terra Mystica with a promo. And so
Score.
Yeah, that was upgrade. And then we had some little stuff we're getting Archer love letters. We don't need Legend of the Five Rings love letter or whatever we got. And then we got a cool escape promo for that. And so we're going to end up with a bunch of new games and get rid of some games that were taking up shelf space. It's pretty neat.
Cool.
Very cool.
Anybody else for other? On Nicole's side.
Gentleman in the back there.
This is the other side of the room.
Brian Siebert from Northern Virginia. From what is sadly a 15-year quest, I have found the pinkest set of dice.
Ooh.
Yes, I do. They are as pink. They're eye-searing.
Hey, he needs to. You're not going to see this, anybody who's listening, but everybody in the room is going to see the eye-searing pink dice that he's
I
digging
expect
out
some sort of
his bag of
audible
holding.
reaction to the pink dice when he pulls it out.
Oh, good God.
Good God, they're pink.
Those are pink.
Dice, people.
Okay, that was good.
Can't argue with that.
I'll never forget that shade.
right.
Anybody else?
So one last question. Which restaurant has the coolest theme this year? The Ram still?
Did the Ram ramp it up?
The Ram's War Machine section is still really good. Scotty's is Paizo, so Scotty's all Pathfinder, which is cool. Any other ones? I know they're spreading out. Anybody been anywhere besides the Ram and Scotty's for cool theming?
No, only the Ram and Scotty's, which is why you have to wait 2 hours to get into either one of them.
That's right. Very good. Oh, go give her
Where
like
was
let her
this?
talk
Wait,
about
hold
that.
on.
We can't hear her unless she
Back.
gets the microphone. That will be dead air on the
alcoholic
show right
mention.
now.
The Severin Bar has a evolution flight of shots, one for each of the evolved EVs you can do in Pokemon Go.
Very cool.
Also in the Severin, the Starbucks, everybody's wearing a team shirt, so there's like Team Mystics.
Yeah.
Very
And the
cool. See,
JW
Pokemon
Marriott,
thing is
all the
everywhere.
staff are wearing Star Trek shirts, which is pretty cool.
At Clauda, some enterprising individual hand-painted logos from a ton of games and movies all over their windows. It's actually pretty cool.
Wow. That's really cool, too. Very cool.
And they have about 300 shots available there.
That's right.
There's that, too.
Looks
That's
like-
achievements.
That's achievements.
Blink.
In a world where board gaming was king, in a time when Kickstarter ruled the web, when every day brought more and more games, now, more than ever, 2 men, and a revolving third chair, and a girl, a total fangirl, brought a shining light into the darkness so that all mankind would know what to buy. They are the D6 generation.
Hey, Russ.
Yes.
Guess what I transported to Gen Con in my battle foam?
An army.
I transported a team, a Ludus, and an entire mountain's worth of characters for a role-playing extravaganza in a dwarven stronghold. That counts as multiple armies all in one case, including a guild ball ghoul and 3 giant monsters and a troll character.
That's excellent. Now, did it all make it safe and sound?
It all made it safe and sound, Russ, because it was in battle foam.
Exactly. Our friends at Battle Foam make the absolute best foam and, of course, the fantastic bags to put it in. And get it wherever you're going safe and sound. Whether you want a nice, affordable, sort of a battle box made of cardboard, that'll work. But if you're traveling like Craig, you want to up the ante a little bit here, go for one of the Battle Foam bags. They have a, would you say they have a plethora, Craig?
I would say that not only do they have a plethora, Russ, their color selection has gone off the charts. And their new release at Gen Con was a white bag that was crazy sharp looking.
Imperial white in person is fantastic.
Unbelievable. And of course, let's not forget that you go all the way up to Black Label if you want to be able to take on a tank with your army inside a case.
Right. So check it all out over at battlefoam.com.
And now, in an attempt to bring a small amount of dignity and decorum to this otherwise base form of entertainment, and I use the term loosely, I am proud to present...
Oh, get on with it. It's time for App of the Up. Seriously, Wakeland, I used to have my own segment, and now I'm relegating to announcing this pap. Hey, you're lucky we still use you. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another App of the Ep. This time around, I want to talk about, I guess it's the latest game in a game series available on iOS and I believe Android also. It's the Go series of games. These are games not based on actually the old ancient Oriental game Go. No, this is based on the series of games that are one move play by turn, so turn-based sort of strategy puzzle games based on large video game properties. So the original one I saw was Hitman Go, and then Lara Croft Go came out, which I really enjoyed. I think I talked about that on App of the Ep for a little bit. And the latest one to just drop is Deuce
Deus Ex Go, which is based on the Deus Ex video game, of course, of the cool hacker dude there, sort of like cross between hacker and Neo guy from The Matrix. Really, really cool game. What's great about these games, all of them really, is they really capture the essence of the video game property they're doing. But I really like is the way you can consume various levels in bite-sized chunks. See, these really cool little puzzle levels you work your way through. In Deus Ex, it's really pretty neat because they change it enough so it's not the same game. So in Lara Croft, you're trying to work your way over cliffs and climbing through various things and tombs and getting by barrels, and there's snakes and a dragon and other crazy things you got to deal with. In this one, you're working your way through a compound guarded by various guards, and there are tricks you can use to get by the various guards, and you're doing hacking and all kinds of other cool stuff. But again, it's just a great game. They really capture the essence of it. You can play it with sound or without sound. I really like games you can just pick up, play a level or two real quickly, feel like you made a little progress, while you're waiting in line at the grocery store or the movie theater or whatever, and then put it away. So I'm really liking this one a lot. And another thing I think that's really impressive is, all the Go games sort of have a sort of similar, a very similar sort of feel to them. But at the same time, they really do capture that essence of the game, and you actually are feeling like you're playing the hero of that game really well. So they're really, really great, great designers, and just really some fun level design here too. So what's neat about it is you do feel like you're playing the sequel to the Lara Croft Go, but in a whole new way because it's a whole different video game character and a whole different theme and a whole different storyline. So really enjoying that. So check it out. It is Deus Ex Go, available on iOS, and I think it's on Android as well. Thank you for listening to another scintillating edition of App of the App, a segment in which, hey, less of that, more just getting on with the show. Seriously, Wakeland, you are like school in summer. No class. All right, so I'm here with Matt Wilson again at Gen Con. Matt, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. I wanted to chat with you. I mean, we've been able to talk with you now for several years. It's been great that you've always found time for us. And it feels like with the release of Mark III in the latest edition, that War Machine and Privateer Press have kind of proven they can go all the way, right, from being a small startup to now a major player in the miniature gaming industry and really leading the way on how things are done. How has that felt to get there?
It's always strange to look back and see how much time that we've actually been doing this, because I think we're going into about 16 years now, and I don't know if that qualifies us as being institutionalized, but although I probably should be, but it's crazy because it did. We started this in a basement with a couple of grand, and now today we've got people all over the world playing the game. We're on our third edition of War Machine and Hordes, and it just keeps growing.
That's amazing. Now, have you being involved, making sort of this industry your livelihood? Has it over time? Have you sort of becoming? Do you still play games, or do you find that that's kind of work now, and you kind of do other things to relax?
I've always said you can either make games or play games, and it's hard to do both. Although I think that's we've got a lot of folks at Privateer who are proving me wrong on that, and which I'm glad. And lately, I've been making a lot more time to go back and start playing our stuff in particular, but several other games that I really have been having fun with. And I've got a 5-year-old kid now. He's actually going on 6, so he's right at that age where we're introducing him to different games and things like that. And just a few weeks ago, I got him to paint his first miniature, so that was pretty satisfying.
Awesome. That's a very proud feeling. I know with my daughter first doing that was an amazing moment. Is he taken to it? Is he really enjoying it?
Yeah, he loves it. I mean, he's grown up around this stuff, so he's probably going to take it for granted and not really realize how good he's got it, that he's got this kind of access to miniatures and all the toys that Daddy likes to surround himself with. But he does like it. He's a creative kid, and he enjoys the painting, and he's drawing and all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome. Does he get to use Daddy's brushes, or does he got to have his own little set?
Well, I've got his own brushes for him.
Yeah, my older brushes become the kids' brushes.
Yeah, I tweeted a thing the other day where I when I sat him down to paint, I was like, this is going to be a disaster because those the P3 paint bottles are pretty small, so they'll tip over.
Right.
And of course, he's 5.5 years old, so he's flailing all over the place. And I looked around to how I could stabilize it, and I took one of our clamshell blisters and cut a little cross in the top and stuck the paint pot in it, and it was this perfect, like it held it just perfect. It was,
That's a brilliant idea. I never did it.
I recommend that to anybody with kids that needs to like worry about spill proofing the paint.
That's a great idea because I love the P3 bottles because they seal really well and they never seem to dry out. Yeah. But popping them open is a little tricky. So it was only my daughter just turned 14. It was only about a year ago I let him open her herself because I was afraid it's going to shoot paint all over the room. Right?
You have to be really careful. And that was the next challenge because once I had that pot out there for him, he would take the brush and he would dip it all the way in. So then there's like 3 inches of paint on the thing, and the bristles are getting all mashed. Yep. And so then I had to actually cork the pot with the lid open so that he would just dip it in that little scoop that's on the lid, which is where you're supposed to take the paint out. Right. So it's a process. He'll learn.
Well, I think paint control on the brush is like the major thing, right? That's, if you can teach your kids that, they're halfway to victory, right?
He did pretty good for his first outing.
Nice. What was his first miniature?
He painted a dire troll.
Dire troll, nice big one. Get started, right?
Yeah, I needed to give him the bigger ones, so that worked. And then the next on deck is an ironclad. So
there you go.
Starting him with the classics.
And the organics are easy to start with too because they're less keeping within the lines, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just blue paint.
Awesome. So speaking of growing up, that's a segue, by the way.
Sorry.
No, it's good. That was a great topic.
I went off on a tangent.
People love hearing about it, getting kids in the hobby. It's really cool to see the industry get so large now. And when we were younger, it wasn't really possible for our parents to teach us this because the gaming industry is only around for like 30 years, right?
So I had no idea what we were doing.
Right, so now we're able to pass it on.
My absolute favorite thing at any convention, and I've seen it a bunch of times at Lock and Load and a bunch of times here, is fathers and sons, moms and daughters, right, coming up and picking out their first armies together, right? And the kids are excited. They're ready to get their new army, and I've seen it a bunch of times. It's like there's I think because we've been doing this for 16 years now. There's people who started playing War Machine 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that have transitioned into those next stages of their lives where they played and then maybe they went off to start a career, start a family, and got away from the hobby for a little while, and then now are coming back, and their kids are old enough that they can actually share this stuff with them, and it's awesome.
It's definitely the magic. We have a lot of our listeners talk about how they love to hear us talk about how we do this with our kids because it's a great way to pass the time with your family. And one of the things I like, really, it's been kind of fun to watch Privateer grow up is now, the new starter boxes are a great way to start. Was that always kind of a vision, or is that something that evolved? I mean, one of the things that maybe changed the company over the years, how did that kind of come to be?
Well, we've done starter boxes, the battle boxes, since the Mark I era, those first products that we made, and the idea was to try and give you that core of your army that was also playable right out of the box, right? And so for that $50 that you spent on a starter, you could have a great experience, and you could play with just the contents of the battle box for quite a while before you needed to scale up, or if you ever wanted to. And so that's always been sort of a pillar of our design philosophy and the way we want to roll the game out. What we did differently with the new editions is they're less expensive, and there's way more stuff in the box. You get the digest rulebook, you get a bunch of tokens, you get the play maps and the tutorials and dice.
Little terrain counters, right? So you got everything you need.
Basically, all you need is glue. Right, and you have everything else that you need to play with, and so once you glue your models together, you're good to go. We even shot the plastics in faction colors for the starters, so that if you take out two different factions, they're actually different colors. And it's not that they're not meant to be painted, but like if you're just starting out, it's really easy. I got my blue guys on the table, you got your red guys on the table. We can tell them apart really easy, and it makes them more distinguishable. And the plastic itself is actually even better than the stuff that we were able to use previously. We've been refining the formulas on that and making it better. So yeah, and this one, it's an unbeatable value at $40.
I really think so, and I do like that you have everything you need to play. That's just it's gotten to that point, which is fantastic. I thought it was brilliant. So, as you look back at Privateer Press over the past 16 years or so, what do you think some of the biggest surprises for you is managing the company through the various stages of growth? What were some of the big moments that were the biggest, challenge that you didn't expect?
Oh boy. That's a
big question.
It's a big question because I'm sure there's been tons. I mean, one of the things that sets Privateer apart and from a lot of other companies is that we do a lot of our own manufacturing. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of companies out there that just they offshore everything, whether it's the printing or the manufacturing. There's still a few companies out there that are old school like us and still do some of their own manufacturing, but that's a big one. So in addition to designing games and and dealing with print, we had to learn how to run a physical plant, mm-hmm. and that's a completely different kind of. I mean, it's certainly not anything that I ever aspired to before doing it. Never thought like I want to be a factory owner. So, right. And that's but that's what it is. Privateer is pretty much split right down the middle between the production side of the company and then the creative and marketing side. So, right. And we all work under the same roof. It's all in one location. And it's very integrated. Our guys, our metal casters and resin casters, and our packers are also part of our playtest teams. And any time, we need a little extra help in the warehouse, our artists and writers will come down and help.
That's excellent. So everybody plays. Everybody knows the game. They're passionate about it, but they're focused on. Do you ever get feedback from the manufacturing side that says, you got to redesign this model, slightly differently to make it effective?
Oh yeah. That's stuff that we've learned along the way is how to design for manufacturing. Right now, after we have the idea that we're going to make a model, whether we've even done the development on it or not, we will do start with the concept artwork, and then that artwork is reviewed by art directors, developers, and then our production staff, and they look at it, and and the production managers will look at it and say, that's going to be a problem in manufacturing, right? Get rid of those chains, because if we do those chains, it's going to tear out the mold, or the spikes are going to tear mold out. Or it depends on the material that it's being used into, because every material has a different set of sort of parameters with what will work and what won't in that production process. So we start troubleshooting it from the beginning of the concept artwork now, and that's something that's a process that we have been refining for over a decade and continue to refine and get better at, and it makes us more efficient. But I mean, when you're asking about like surprises or challenges that we've faced, among the biggest are just learning how to do this production and do it the right way. But one of the wrenches that got thrown at us early on was we started making the miniatures in 2002, and at that time we were outsourcing them. After we actually launched the game in 2003, the demand was so high immediately that we had to start our own factory, which wasn't something that we were expecting to have to do for about a year or so. So our timeline got accelerated, and we got into manufacturing, and we started to grow our factory. And then I don't remember the exact date, but I want to say it was probably about 2006 is when the price of tin shot up. Right. And we went from over the space of a couple of years, it went from about $3.25 a pound to over $13 a pound, and that drilled our prices on this stuff, right? And it just inflated everything like crazy because of the sheer cost of the metal, and so that was when I'd say that was around 2007, because that was one of the motivations for us to look at doing Monster Apocalypse in plastic, because it was something that the price could be more controlled on. And then the recession came, and and all the costs on fuel prices went up, and anything that had anything to do with petroleum, whether it was transportation or manufacturing, and then that actually shot the prices up on plastic, and so that made even Monster Apocalypse more expensive. So I guess the whole dealing with commodities, again, something I never had aspired to do. There's been a lot of surprises along the way of just like how do we do this and keep the costs where we can actually predict what they're going to be so that we can make this stuff.
Right. I mean, you don't really think about it. I just want to make a game, and all of a sudden you're dealing with manufacturing and commodities and worldwide distribution. Right.
It's not. There's a lot of there's so many moving parts behind what we do, and in the end, it looks so simple because it's a model that comes out of the box or a game, and we think of the tabletop industry as being sort of, for the most part, low tech, and we all grew up with the pen and paper experience or pencil and paper, and we roll dice. It's not like we're not programming computers necessarily. Some people.
Well, you have War Room now, so you kind of do.
Yeah, War Room. But by and large, it seems more of a tangible kind of experience, but there's so much that goes on behind it, and everybody thinks that they know how it works, right? They look at something and they're like, oh, that's just made of plastic, that's pennies to produce. Right. Well, it really wasn't. It was that one little model that you're looking at was $15,000 to cut a steel tool, right? And then it was another $10,000 in labor, right, to shoot the plastic, and then it had to get packaged, and then it has to get shipped over on a freighter, right? And all that stuff adds up, and then don't forget that thing had to be sculpted by an artist that has to get paid. So there's all these little things that add up, and the dozens of costs that eventually have to come out the other end to be sold at a price where you can still manage to also sustain your company. So. So live and learn.
Did you have a few of those moments when you look at other companies and think, why the hell would they do it that way? And then a little while later, you're like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, probably in every different way you can imagine. We'll look at, we're constantly looking for better ways to do stuff. How can we save money on a process? And we have on our production side, we have a lot of really great we've done a lot of great R&D, particularly on our resin over the last couple of years, where the quality of our resin and the way we do it, we've got a lot of just methods that have been refined over time and through experimentation to be able to get the results that we want out of it. And so we've done great. We've also got some really brilliant people at Privateer in our production that have scratch built machines that to do various things that we need to, with resin production. You have to get the air bubbles out of the resin, and our Kelly Yeager, who was our first production person, he started our entire production back in 2003 and has been with us ever since. He built this crazy rotational I can't remember now what it's called. It looks like one of those things that they strap an astronaut into.
Yeah, kind of like a centrifuge kind of situation.
Centrifuge, that's what it is. And he built it from scratch, and it was this amazing contraption. They cobbled together from a bunch of stuff, and it's chain driven. This motor's making these things go around, and it's spinning, and it would get the bubbles out. It worked amazingly. And so since then, we found other units that we could buy and can do it with more molds in them, so we can do it a little more efficiently. But where it started was all just we always call him MacGyver. So
nicely, he's your guy that just gets stuff done, whatever it takes.
He can do anything. Yeah, he can make anything. He's awesome.
That's awesome. That's great. So that's how the company's grown up. That's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about how the game that was sort of a vision in your mind once has kind of grown up over the time. Has War Machine how has it changed over the years, and what parts were kind of total surprises to you, didn't expect for it to turn left and right?
Well, the surprises come from what other people can do with what you've handed them, and we do a lot of play testing, and we do a lot of theorizing and trying to figure out how the game's going to get played. Once that goes into the hands of 30,000 people overnight, who knows what's going to happen, right? Like there's going to be things that come up that are unexpected. So it's hard to predict the trends and where people are going to take it. And definitely, like with War Machine, the concept, that sort of like the core idea has always been the relationship between the Warcasters and the Warjacks. I've said it a million times in different places. And the vision for that is that you have this Warcaster character she's got 3 or 4 or 5 Warjacks that surround her in her battle group, at least a couple. And definitely in the Mark I era, what we saw was that people were used to playing miniatures games with lots of infantry, and so they sort of gravitated towards that, and they didn't necessarily get the nuance of the Warjacks. And then over time, probably because we had so many different offerings of the infantry, it also it also made the infantry maybe a better value on the tabletop of or what you could get out of for your points. So the economy for the Warjacks wasn't there, and we tried to we moved that needle a little bit in Mark II, and Warjacks became a little bit better with the way we treated the point system, the army building, and but then in that era, it's the how would you say the predominant feeling was that maybe war beasts were overpowered by comparison, and again we weren't seeing that like relationship that we wanted to between the Warcaster and the Warjack, so in the way they were balanced on the tabletop. And I think that with the new editions, we found that sweet spot with this power up ability, and now you've got you have a great reason to take several Warjacks with your Warcaster.
So does Mark III really feel like, or I should call it Mark III, the new edition really feel like that it's the War Machine you always envisioned still, or does it feel like it's really different than your initial concept, but still the heart is there still?
I'd say it's the game plays closer to how we wanted it to feel, from the original. That part of that vision, the conceptual side of things has never changed. That's always been the same. But we learn over time from playing ourselves and developing, and then watching what tens of thousands of people are doing with the games, and that definitely influences how we develop over time. And it'll always be that way because things will change, and especially as we have an ever-growing library of models to choose from. One little thing, one rule, right? You can put one rule out there, and it can change everything. And it's part of the fun of these kinds of games, and it's also the danger, right? In that you put the wrong thing out there, and all of a sudden everything's broken or it doesn't work. And so you don't want to get in a situation where you're just chasing your tail trying to patch a broken thing. So and that's one of the other things that we committed to with the new editions is an actual annual update of the rules. So if we find that something over the next 6 months is not working or unbalanced, we know that next summer there's going to be a drop of some cards that may rebalance that, and it's as close as we can get to the to the model of a video game where video games have that luxury of being able to patch something and fix it right underneath your nose, and you may not even ever know it, right? It's just like all of a sudden your Vaporeon's not broken anymore, right? So
that's awesome. Have you noticed, do you think technology is one of the changes over the years that's enabled you to do this a little easier? How has War Room and maybe the ability to print cards easier or whatever made it easier to do these kind of minor tweaks or even major changes to keep the game balanced and tight?
Well, I mean, War Room is pretty great now, and I wish in my ideal world, we wouldn't actually have to do cards anymore, because with War Room, if everybody just used War Room, then we've got a bunch of errata here from the new editions, and we'd be able to just go right in there, fix it, boom, War Room be updated, and there would be no errata, right? Like it would just be it would all be perfect, and anytime there was an error, we could fix it. We could fix it quickly, and it wouldn't be a problem because we have to, because we're still committed to print. That means that errors are going to happen, right? Like it's unavoidable that some will. When you go through 1,000 different models, right, and rebalance them, and retune them, you can go so far, but things will fall into the mix and not get caught. So I don't really want to go into that one because I know that one's been that's ground covered by people that are more qualified to talk about it than I am. But as far as like how the technology works, like I love War Room for that fact that like we can always make War Room we can keep the information in there as up to date as it can possibly be. So and in another 5 years or 7 years or something, maybe that tech will be ubiquitous enough that the idea of cards is irrelevant, or maybe people will always continue to like playing with their cards. So I think gamers in general enjoy that like tangible item. We like to have the collections of the cards or the tokens that we put on the table and these things that are sort of part of the game experience for us. And so I'm not sure if you can ever really get away from that or that you'd want to. But definitely when it comes to that preservation of or like curating the information accurately, it's nice to have those digital tools.
Yeah, I'm definitely on record as liking War Room, and I like how you can quickly and easily build your list. The cards are right there, and I love the vision that everything's just up to date and I don't have to worry about, do I have the right version of my card in my bag, or did I bend my card or lose it? So I'm in your camp on that one, Matt. We'll see where it ends up. Before we're out of time, I do want to also ask you, though, about the amazing, the War Machine universe and the stories and the fiction and how they've evolved. And I know in the beginning you obviously were very involved with some of the characters. Do you associate strongly with some of these guys? Are they kind of like near and dear to you? And how have you had fun watching them grow up? And do you like where they've ended up so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's all that stuff was stuff that we hatched, again, like 16 years ago. And I've always been very involved in the story development. And I haven't done a lot of the writing directly. I've done some of it along the way. I've always been involved in plotting the storylines and working with the authors to do outlines and sort of curate that story. Now it's taken on a whole new level where with Skull Island Expeditions, with the novels that we're publishing under that label, we've started this new era with the new editions, and we have our most recent book that we released, Flashpoint by Aaron Riddell, is sort of the beginning of this new meta story, and we've got a number of different series that are going to be all sort of interwoven, where you don't have to read them all. If you just want to read the Acts of War series that's about the war in Lael, then you can follow that and you'll understand the meta story. If you want all of it, right, then you'll pick up the new Hellslinger series that comes out in October, which is with Alistair Kane and some crazy exploits that he's doing. And there will be points that overlap in the stories that where you get a sort of a broader image. But we're developing this line of books that in a very vertical fashion where everything's sort of playing off of each other, and we're building this massive story that I've spent the last few months working on and off trying to outline where it's all going. So we really do know, 5 years from now, where what big events we're going to see in those stories. And so I've been working with the authors on the outlines. We get really in depth in them and meticulous, trying to figure out this timeline and where the characters are overlapping. And then I just decided I'm going to plunge in myself and do one of the series. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that'll be next year, provided I can bring it across the finish line. But I'm pretty deep into it right now.
So are you involved with all the characters, or are there like a certain few where like Stryker, that's Stryker, and he's going to end up here, and he's got to go through Matt to be able to change that guy's story?
No, I am involved in all of it in sort of a holistic sense. I mean, there's not that like I haven't put my name on any characters that like you can't touch this unless I say anything. I guess I put my name on the whole thing, right? It's like we need to.
So you've got the outline and the overall picture, the timeline.
Yeah, I'm right now. One of the primary functions that I have is basically shepherding the creation of this big story and figuring out the different pieces that are how the different pieces are building it. So, and even the stuff like the series that I'm going to be doing is not one that probably anybody would expect me to take on, because I know everybody thinks that like I'm a huge Striker fan and all I care about is Signar. It's not true, because I had created all of these factions at one point, and so I have a limited amount of time, so I've only managed to paint one army, right? But the story that I've taken on is actually going to be is going to revolve around Khador and the Trollbloods. So
very cool. I like what it feels like to me in the new edition with the all new casters in the starter box. It really feels like it's almost like you've moved on. It's kind of like Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's like there's a new generation of major characters you're going to follow. Is that kind of what you guys are going for there?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some of that. We wanted to bring some new blood into it, and because we'd done 2 editions with the same casters, so it was time. And then characters like Striker or Denegra, they've gone through some pretty big story arcs, right? They've been through a lot of stuff, and so we did want to have some new blood in there that we could tell the stories with. But like the first Acts of War book, Flashpoint, is about the Signarin war or Signarin effort to liberate Lael from Khador, and Striker is definitely the central character there, but Maddox, Beth Maddox, is the new Warcaster in the Signar box. She's a main character there as well. And so what we wanted to do there is bring her into that story so that we can also sort of off-ramp her into her own storyline, that kind of shoots off from there. But we've got it's the new characters are not meant to take away from the previous generations. They're going to add to it, but they give us some new places to tell stories, and I think that I think in some ways also after 15 years, game design isn't the only thing that we've improved on, right? One of the other things is we're better storytellers now, and we've been refining that craft, and we wanted some new places to tell stories that necessarily don't necessarily have baggage associated with them. And a character like Striker, he's done a lot of stuff, right? So it's not like we're gonna we're not at an origin point with him where we're going to surprise you with a lot of things. And yet there's still stories to tell about it. But definitely the new characters we're having a lot of fun with, because they open up a lot of territory for us to explore.
Great. Well, I've been loving the Skull Islands Expedition books, and I'm looking forward to the new stuff coming out this fall. Matt, thank you so much for taking time from Gen Con and spending it with me today. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of the con.
Thank you. Thank you, Russ.
This is Total Fangirl. Regular Jane most days, total fangirl when the moment strikes. Han shot first. Starbuck is a guy. And Lestat, now there's a vampire. Hey everyone, this is Nicole, your Total Fangirl. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicole Wakeland and check out my blog, TotalFangirl.com. Our shout out is to all of our fantabulous supporters over at Patreon. Head to patreon.com/the D6 Generation and you too can support the show. We just got back from Gen Con and vacation. Okay, they weren't the same thing. They were supposed to be 2 very different and separate things, and then life conspired to squish them together. So we had to short our normal vacation, and then we had to short Gen Con. So we didn't get to stay for as long as we normally like. But we were there early on Wednesday and sort of had some Gen Con goodness with Geek Nation tours and got to see some people and play some games on Wednesday. So we kind of got a little extra early, even though we missed out on Saturday. But we had a fantastic, fantastic time. But here's the thing. So Gen Con is not a an occasion where you get very much sleep. I mean, at the best of circumstances, you go back to the hotel, you doze for a few fitful hours, you get up, you take a shower. If you don't take a shower, you're doing it wrong. You get up, you take a shower, and then you go back down and you play games, and you hang out with your friends, and you eat at Scotty's, and you have a great time. And that's pretty much what we did. But here was our fatal flaw. So I'm gonna tease Russ a little bit because he so deserves this, people. Okay, so he planned this vacation and it was fantastic. We went to Gen Con, then we went to Ireland, and then went to Wales and saw Owen. Hey, Owen. And then we went to England and we had a wonderful time. But we started off at Gen Con and it was okay, we're gonna get there, we're gonna drive. Now, we normally drive in 2 days because we live in New Hampshire. And that's like a 14-hour drive from New Hampshire to Indianapolis. You can do it in one fell swoop if you want to, but 14 hours. It doesn't matter whether you're 19 or whether you're like 99. That is not fun to spend 14 hours in a car. So our plan was, because we were driving and we were short on time, we were going to try and split it a little bit between 2 days, but we had to do it close. So we were going to do like maybe 4 or 5 hours one night, crash the hotel, and then finish it up the next day. So Russ made a reservation for a hotel that was 4 or 5 hours away. And when we called to confirm it, they didn't have a reservation. So my personal thought was, well, let me call one of the other 850 bazillion hotels between here and Indianapolis and make a reservation so we can get a little bit of sleep. I was like, no, we can drive straight through. So we did. We left New Hampshire at 8:30 at night, and we got into Gen Con or Indianapolis at noon or something like that. Our stops were briefly for gas and a bathroom break, copious amounts of caffeine and chewing gum for Russ so that he would stay awake, and a really cheesy diner in Pennsylvania that was just, hey, diner on the side of the road, I'm starving and can't keep my eyes open anymore. Let's go there. Then we got to Gen Con and we were exhausted. And he had Geek Nation Tours event that went really, really well, but we were tired. So we started off Gen Con with this redonkulous sleep deficit. We never really made it up until we got back home from our trip to Europe and got back to the United States and became unjet lagged and we're home again. So we did this crazy trip. That sounds pretty crazy. Well, then the flip side of that is then we had to get to an airplane flight that was leaving JFK on Saturday night at 10 p.m. And our plan was to leave Indianapolis on Saturday and drive to JFK because JFK is closer than New Hampshire. So we did this. We got back in a car after riding overnight on a 14-hour trip. We got back in the car roughly 2 days later to drive straight through on a 10, 12-hour trip to JFK. And we did that. The miraculous part of the entire experience is we didn't hit anything. We didn't get any tickets. And we all are still talking to each other. But the saddest part was that we missed Saturday at Gen Con. So I didn't get to see the giant cosplay parade. I didn't get to see Card Hollow where they make all those towers and things that people make with the cards, and then they throw coins at it and knock it all down for charity, and people make all sorts of donations. That's always fun, and the kids like it. So we had a day short at Gen Con. And when we were thinking about it, we thought, well, it's only one day that we're going to miss. I mean, it's only one day. We normally leave Sunday morning. Instead, we're leaving Saturday morning. And we didn't really think, it's one day. Well, here's the thing. I never knew how much I enjoyed that one day, the absolute crazy Saturday of Gen Con, until I didn't get it. Like, I felt like I kind of went to Gen Con, but then I kind of felt like I didn't. Because I had a great 2 days that I was there. Friday and Thursday were fantastic, and the kids loved it, and Russ loved it. But it was unfortunately we missed Saturday. So as a result of shorting ourselves this year, despite having a fantastic time and even getting the D6G play by Mob, playing with some of our favorite listeners, Bob Oswald, hey, it was great to see you, playing with everybody. We next year are probably on the cusp of going the exact opposite direction. So instead of cutting Gen Con short, I have this feeling we're going to be getting to Gen Con like Wednesday morning crack of dawn, and we're not going to be leaving until like Sunday night. So that's going to have to be how we make it up. So it was a short Gen Con for the Wakeling clan this year, a very, very sleepy Gen Con for the Wakeling clan this year. But what it has taught us is that one day that you think is not such a big deal, oh man, it's huge. And next year, we are definitely going to be there for all 4 days of the best 4 days in gaming.
Hey, you know what that sound means? That sound is Vic the Viking's mighty horn, which
It's
means
time to talk about the War Store.
bringing the war to your door for a decade and more. And
almost 2 decades now.
All the hot stuff here is at the War Store. If you're a miniature gamer and you're hearing about new hotness like Conflict 47 or any of these other hot games, they're all there, Craig, on the War Store.
Not only are they there, Russ, but they managed to get all these cool deals that nobody else can get, like the cool miniature. You buy the Conflict 47 rulebook, you get the cool miniature with it that you would get from buying it direct from Warlord. They've got their tentacles in all kinds of companies for these cool deals to bring them to you.
Yeah, you order Infinity's new Operation Red Veil. Again, exclusive miniature deal from the War Store right there. So, boom, many, many options. Guild Ball, War Machine Mark III, you name it, they've got it. All the new Malifaux stuff, it's all there at the War Store. Easy to find, great sections. And, of course, it's backed up by Neil's fantastic service from him and his entire staff there. And some of the best prices on the net, which I don't really understand, Craig, because these things are affordable, they ship fast, and the service is fantastic. Anything goes wrong, they take care of it for you immediately. It's
it's all about the customer service, Russ. Peerless customer service, and it's always fun to go in there at Gen Con and see the latest cool stuff where other companies will actually sell through the War Store. For instance, Spartan Games and Warlord were there selling their brand new hotness through the War Store because they're the ones who can get the job done.
Yeah, like Halo Ground Command in stock at the War Store right now.
That's
oh my
right.
Goodness. Awesome stuff. So head on over to thewarstore.com.
This is the Dice Tower Network at dicetowernetwork.com.
Welcome back, everyone. And now we're going to have our big play-by-mob event, which is, of course, Gamer Pyramid. Now, we've deconstructed our audience into a very awkward seating arrangement here, so thank you guys for being so understanding.
We have completely destroyed this conference room.
They're in groups, roughly 4 groups, and there's probably, I don't know how many people are in here, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
Roughly 4. Who's bad at math? I claim I got a bad rap.
Turns out it's exactly 4 groups of roughly how many people? How big are your groups each, roughly? Little math there. 15? Oh, perfect. 15. Okay, good. So we've gone ahead and asked the groups to name themselves. And so, Nicole, can you go out in the audience with a microphone and capture people's responses here as we ask them for their names? So, team number 1, what is your name going to be there?
We are the Majestic Shoulder Griffins.
Excellent. The Majestic
Blah, 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 beady eyes, blah, 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 the furry thing, too.
So, I'm going to go ahead and everybody can see what I'm doing here. There we go. All right. So, Majestic Shoulder Griffins. You guys barely fit on the title name there because that's one heck of a team name. Very good. Team number 2. What is your name?
Pedantosaurus Rex, the most correct dinosaur.
I would say.
All right,
I would say P-Rex.
I'm going with an acronym, which is PRMPD.
Primped. You've been permped.
Did I get that? Or we'll just call it
CD.
P-Rex for short. I
There
like
you
that.
go.
But when you give your battle cry, you must give your full team name. That
Indeed.
is excellent. All right. Team number 3. That's pretty good. Team number 2. P-Rex team. Nice job. Team number 3. What do you got for a name there?
That would be me.
Team Wolf.
Wolf.
Team Wolf. I like the brevity, Team Wolf.
That's spelled with an F.
I can spell that and type that, and it fits on my screen here, so that's excellent. All right, and team number 4.
We are McNerdigan's Orphans.
Ah!
Nerdigans.
Right!
Very nicely done, Team McNordigan's Orphans. All right.
And now I'd like to give a shout-out as we start this to Dave Monroe, a listener who comes to Gen Con a lot, who thought it would be a good idea to skip this year.
Yes.
Dave. What do we all think about that decision?
Boo.
There's a distinct hissing in the room.
There is. All
We
right.
miss you, Dave.
So we're going to need our mic people. You want to go out there, too, with the mic, Craig, because we're going to have to do some fancy mic work here for this game.
Fancy.
Now, this game is so complex and deep. So one of the things I've discovered, now please don't trip over the wires because it'll disassemble this entirely well-crafted project. All right. What I've noticed about teaching games, I don't know if you guys have found this too, but I find if you just start playing the game without giving people a sample, they get very upset when the other teams now know how it works and have a better advantage, especially when there are prizes on the line, like this giant pile of prizes over here on the right. All right? Exactly. Lots of prizes. So donated by our friends at Stronghold Games. We got stuff over there from A whole bunch of stuff.
There's a whole bunch of stuff over there from Games and Gears.
Yeah, we got amazing amount of stuff over there.
Dark Deeds,
lots of stuff, which we're exciting. So, any case, what we're going to do here to play this, who understands how Pyramid works? Give me a cheer. Okay, that's a pretty small number.
Approximately 1.5 per group, Russ.
So Thank you, Craig. So Pyramid's a really interesting game show. How it basically works is there are two phases to the game. The first phase of the game is there's a category you know going in, and then one person is the clue giver, and the other person is the guesser. And the clue giver has to give clues to get the guesser to say the right word, but the rule is you can't actually give any elements or sections of the word, right? So we're going to do a quick demo here how this is going to work. So I need a volunteer from the audience. Doesn't matter which team you're in because it's just a demo. And preferably somebody who's a little bit about War Machine. Don't know a lot about War Machine. So gentleman in the white shirt back there, why don't you come up and have a seat in this chair right here facing the audience. So what's going to happen now is words that are clues are going to appear on the screen behind our guest here. Nicole, can you get this gentleman a mic?
Oh, he's going to be blinded.
Fine.
There's no way to do this without him being blinded. I think Russ did this on purpose.
If you want to move him to the side, that's perfect. There we go. Perfect. And
we need an isolation.
There you go.
We need an isolation chamber.
As long as he can't see the screen, that's important. Now give him a microphone so we can talk. Talk nice and close to the mic. Make sure you get it right to your lips. You got to kiss it.
All right, I'm kissing.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Walter from Nashville, Tennessee.
Walter from Nashville. Welcome, Walter. Now, Walter, we're going to need one more microphone. So, Craig, you're going to be in charge of going to the audience. Now, the audience, normally when we play this, is going to be the team who's guessing. So, the team whose currently turn it is, their clue receiver is going to be in this chair. And the team who's also out there in the audience, they're going to give the clues to the guesser. So, since you're from the McNerdigans Orphans.
No, Team Wolf.
You're from Team Wolf. I'm sorry, you're from Team Wolf. So, Team Wolf, we need 6 people to sit in a row. Craig, why don't you go over to Team Wolf?
Oh, I get it. Team Wolf.
Yes. You're going to go ahead.
I get it.
And you're going to go in order, starting with one person. When the first word comes up, that person is going to start giving clues until the guesser gets the word, okay? And then once he gets the word, you're going to go to the next person, and they're going to give clues for the next word up there until you get 6 words right, okay? Now you have 60 seconds to get 6 words, and you're going to score as many points as there are words. Make sense so far? Everybody with me? Once we do this, it's going to be simple. Now, there's 2 options to pass here. The clue giver can pass because he doesn't know what to say, in which case Craig just goes to the next person in your team to start giving clues. The only thing you lose there is a little bit of time as the microphone shifts people. If the guesser passes because he just can't get it, you're going to skip that word and move on to the next one, and the max score you can get per chance is 6, right? Because 6 words per category. Make sense? Okay. So here this is going to work. You guys are going to see how this is going to work right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this. The category is Now Mine's Been Nerfed. So this would be the category you'd pick. You wouldn't know exactly what it's about. And then I would tell you at this point that these are factions in War Machine. Okay? So you're going to be guessing War Machine factions. You're going to be trying to give the clues, starting with this gentleman here.
But would he know that they are War Machine factions?
He would know all the information I just told him.
Okay.
Ready? So, Craig, make sure you get the mic right next to this gentleman's mouth. He's going to try to give clues as fast as he can.
Yes.
Ready? Go.
Red.
Scorn.
Other red.
Kador.
Kador, that's correct. Ding. Next one.
Monsters. Blue monsters.
Blue monsters, Trollbloods.
Ding. Next one.
Oh, good Lord. Pass.
Undead.
Undead is
Raising them.
The what? Cricks.
Raising the undead.
Cricks.
There you go. Nice.
Pass. Oh, God. Pass.
Age of.
Age of.
Signor.
Signor. Nice. And time's up. So you would have gotten about 4 there, right? So that's how this is going to work. Make sense?
Could be worse.
Now,
Could be circle of or borough.
Now here's the thing. You'll get to pick your categories, okay? So you have a little control over this, and you can pick your guesser once you know your category. So thank you for helping us out with the demo there. You can go back to your seat. Give the mic back to Nicole. So you can take a prize, too. Help yourself to the small prize pool. Kids, show them where the small prize pool is. Help yourself to the small prize. Choose one for helping us out demo there. All right.
There are some expensive things in the small prize pool.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right.
Physically small, exactly.
We're going to do multiple rounds here. You guys ready for this? Now, unfortunately, due to the speakers being out in this room, you won't hear the cool game show music, but we'll wing it here. All right?
Oh,
I've been listening to that game show music for like
I would have been crushed. He's got everything working. Is that it?
Yeah, it's sort of like that.
So the categories in round 1 are I'd memorize that. Gotta catch most of them. I need a hero. Only a 3-hour wait? At least my author finished. And, of course, not too horrible.
So first we're going to figure out which team gets to go first. That's going to be based on your battle cry, right? So based on your battle cry. So go ahead. Majestic Shoulder Griffins, let's hear your battle cry. That was pretty good. P-Rex, what's your battle cry?
Actually!
All right, Team Wolf, what's your battle cry?
Oh!
That's pretty good. McNerdigan's Orphans.
A chant! A chant! A chant!
All right, Nicole, you're going to judge. Which team had the best cheer? The Wolf.
Okay.
So Team Wolf, you are first. So first, pick your category, Team Wolf. I need a hero. Well, that's the 7-Eleven. All right. So you pick the 7-Eleven category. So what that means is you're going to get 7 clues. But if you get all 7 of these clues right, not only does your team score 7 points, but all the clue givers get to get a prize right now instead of just a clue guesser. So, and I will tell you, this means the category I need a hero means comic book heroes.
Ooh.
Comic book heroes. So who would like to try to receive the guesses? Who would like to be the guesser?
Who knows
Pick a
their
person from the team.
heroes? I was pushing for 70s music, but
there you go.
There we go. Stepping up. We got a hero right here.
All right.
You're just jealous because you want this one.
All right. So, Craig, get in front of the person, and you're just going to row down their team. You got to be very fast because they got 60 seconds. Let me get my timer going here. Hang on just a second. Stopwatch is set. Now, normally in the regular game show, you got 30 seconds. I'm doubling it for 60 because we've got microphone passing going on here, okay? So here we go.
Seems fair.
Seems, all right. We'll allow that. So here we go. You guys chose I Need a Hero. Are you ready? Starting the timer. Go.
Red and blue climbs on walls.
Spider-Man.
Ding.
Red, blue, and white.
Captain
Has a
America.
shield.
Bing.
Red and black.
Deadpool.
Bing.
You cannot help.
She has a DC movie soon.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, ding.
He fights crime in Gotham City.
Batman.
Ding.
Has a really bad thing on his finger, different colors.
Green Lantern.
What do you think? Ding.
He's blind.
Daredevil.
Bing. You did it, all 7. Woo! All right.
Well done.
So that was the Wolves. So the Wolves have had one go, and they scored 7 points. So clue receiver, go up and pick a small prize, and everybody who gave a clue also get a small prize. That was a 7-Eleven. Nice job.
And if any team has an easily understood scheme you would like me to do to choose the next people when I'm,
you can work that out.
You can work that out amongst yourselves.
You want to do there.
They asked me to
All right.
zigzag. Sadly, they didn't inform everybody, so if I wasn't zigzagging.
All right, here we go. So team number 2, Nicole. Who was the second place cheering team?
No.
Who? Oh, the Majestic Shoulder Griffins. All right, we'll wait for our prize posse here to get done picking out their prizes. And then we're going to send in, all right, pick your 7-Eleven prizes quickly there, 7-Eleveners. All right, nicely done. Be planning your strategy of how you want Craig to go by through your team.
There's a lot of Games and Gears brushes gone.
The brushes are moving quick. Excellent.
That was an informed snag, sir.
It was a good job. So go ahead. Craig, go out in the audience, let him pick a category. Who wants to be your category picker there. Team.
That be the guy with the majestic
Griffin.
shoulder griffin?
I feel like he's got it. What category are you going to play? They're debating now. Talking to the mic. It's just
There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking. A lot of crosstalk.
All right, good. They're having a tough decision here. They're going
Not
with
too horrible,
too
Russ.
horrible. And who's going to be your clue guesser?
You have to tell them what it is first.
Oh, not too horrible is segments on the D6 generation.
Are there 6?
There are. There are. Yes, there are.
But you
We're
will.
just going to pick somebody in a minute.
He's going up. All right. There you go.
All right. Come on down. Have a seat in the hot seat over here. Make sure you can't. Make sure you're sitting away. You can't see the background there.
I'm intrigued.
All right, you ready?
I'm intrigued.
Team, are you ready? Are you ready? Who are you going to start with over there, Craig? You got your starting person? Doesn't matter. Just pick a person. All right, here we go.
Zigzag back and forth.
Ready, set, go.
No longer a host. No longer a segment.
Ranger.
What's the name of the segment?
Oh, that would be Grapes Round Table.
No, his more common segment.
Pass. I don't know what it is.
Pass. Okay, next.
The beginning segment. Craig asked lots of questions.
Rapid fire.
Ding.
The one that comes after rapid fire.
Say that again.
The one that comes after rapid fire with the Xbox sound effects.
Oh, achievements in gaming.
Ding.
Pass.
Things you might have realized.
Things I might have what?
Things you might have realized.
And time. Sorry, guys.
Ouch.
Did you ever notice was the clue that was missed there?
You get a prize, though, sir.
You passed on the Hollywood Minute. You do get a prize for sitting with us.
For taking the hot seat.
So you guys scored 3, right?
Yes. Hey, mine got this.
All right, so that was the Majestic Griffins. That was not
too horrible. See, we have the bar, and
you guys get 3 or 2? You guys got 3, right? 2? All right, a point of 2. So right now the Wolves lead with 7, making it look easy. The Shoulder Griffins show that it's not always easy. So there you have it. All right. Fuck. All right. Sad squawk.
So,
Nicole, who's the third fastest team out here?
I'm going with these guys because they rearranged all their seating there so that.
Oh, they are ready.
Just
for you.
All right.
Oh, very nice.
That's the McNerdigans Orphans,
Very
right?
gentlemanly. I would expect nothing
All right.
less.
All right, guys, pick a category. What do you make sure you get the mic on them when they pick their category, Craig?
3-hour wait.
So they're going with
3-hour wait. Only a 3-hour wait? There's a question
That's
mark.
excellent. Okay, only a 3-hour wait. So we're going to go back here. Only a 3-hour wait. These are things you wait in line for at Gen Con.
Ooh.
Who would like to receive the clues?
All right. Okay.
Lovely.
And how would you like me to zigzag back and forth? Keep the zigzag. All right. You guys started a trend.
All right. Remember, talk carefully into the microphone. And Craig, are you ready to go here?
I am ready.
All right, I'm setting my fancy pants timer. Are you ready, guys? You going to rock this? Okay, 6 clues, 60 seconds. Here we go, and go.
Restaurant. Steak and Shake.
A Gen Con restaurant.
The food vendors. The
3-hour wait.
Pass.
This is the place where you pick up your badge if you order.
Will call.
Ding.
Pass.
Armada X-Wing.
Armada X-Wing. Fantasy Flight Games.
Yep, bing. We'll give it to you.
Famous people.
Special guests or
You go there and they write on something.
signature lines.
Yes.
Yeah, close enough. We'll give it to you. Ding.
The thing where the crazy horde of angry nerds descend on first thing on Thursday morning.
Opening ceremonies. The doors open. The vendor hall.
Vendor hall. Ding. Time's up. We're out of time, guys.
Oh, they're the food trucks.
That was pretty good.
There's the food trucks right there.
You almost got it. So you didn't get the food trucks, and you missed the Ram.
The
was the first one you
Ram.
missed there. The Ram. Oh, well. All right.
It's a 3-hour wait.
That wasn't
I
bad.
thought you guys had the
got-
best
that
cheer.
was McNerdigan's Orphans, right? So you guys had a turn, and you got 4. You got missed 2. All right, nice job, guys. That means, of course, it's now time for Team P-Rex. Are you guys ready? P-Rex. Nice. You got 3 categories left, guys. Stay away from that one.
I'd memorize that, Russ.
Memorize that. Oh, what do you guys think it is? These are spells that wizards memorize in Dungeons and Dragons. Right?
That
So
hardly
who is your clue
seems
guesser?
fair. And a barbarian at that.
All right, what could possibly go wrong?
Points for honesty.
All right, who's your guesser? Who's your guesser?
All right, here we go.
Come on down.
Now, how you want me to do
All
this?
right.
You want me to zip zig?
Here we go.
Okay.
Yep, got it.
Circle might be quicker. Okay, circle it is.
All right.
Square.
Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. I'd memorize that. Clue guesser, what's your name, sir?
Adam. Oh, that's not me. I'm a giver.
What's your,
What? Oh, Micah.
Micah. Excellent. Okay, Micah.
Yeah.
Good luck, Micah. Here we go. Ready? Spells you memorize as a wizard.
Opposite of ice.
Fireball.
Boom. Ding.
Making Z's going to bed.
Sleep.
Ding.
On a door.
Lock.
What do you do to a door?
Knock.
Ding.
You do this to music, and then
Sing. Dance.
Yeah, and then things flash.
Dancing lights.
Ding. Nice. Wow, that was good.
Basic spell. Magic missile. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Pass.
It stops swords.
Shield. Mage armor.
Sword. Sword. I don't want to use that word. Barrier.
That
was the word you didn't want to use.
Unfortunately, the spell was blade barrier, but
I
he
feel
used
your
word
pain.
barrier. Canceling the guess. So you guys got 5 out of 6, though. Well done. What?
Hey.
Okay, fair. Take a prize. I'm being called to the task that this is a priest spell, so I may have crossed the line on that.
That was
one.
a priest spell?
Yeah.
Oh, Russ.
So I may have crossed the line on that one. There may be.
Oh.
I'm getting well actually here from
Foul.
Well, actually.
That's all right. Good one. Well done, guys. That was some hard ones. That was really well done. All right, so that was P-Rex. You guys got 5 out of 6.
5.
Good job. All right. Back to who's first? Team Wolf.
Wolf.
Okay, Wolf, your guys' turn to go again. The remaining categories are. I memorize that. You got to catch most of them, or at least my author finished. If you don't know Pokemon by now, why do you think that's Pokemon? I don't understand. Well, that too. My family does play Pokemon. All right, 30 seconds. Pick a category.
Doing authors.
At least my author finished. Okay. These are fantasy book series that are complete. See what we did there? Fantasy. So no Game of Thrones.
Who's going up?
Sorry. All right. All right. This is Wolf. Team Wolf, right? Team Wolf's going in on turn 2.
Did I leave off?
Team Wolf's trying to go with the perfect record still. They scored 7 last time.
So am I
zigzagging? This is going to be interesting.
At least my author finished. Are you guys ready, Team Wolf? Here we go. We're going to go ahead and ready, set, go.
Lions.
I couldn't hear you.
That's the one.
Say it louder.
Lions, wardrobes. Aslan.
Oh God. C.S. Lewis.
That's the author. We need the series.
That's the author. What? I don't know the series. Pass.
Passing.
This is a game that you can't find anymore, and it's really expensive. It's black,
That's a good clue, actually.
plastic, and cheap, and very expensive on eBay. I'd have passed.
Pass.
It's a building, not a castle, but a single tall building for purposes.
The Dark Tower by Stephen King.
Oh, very good. Well done. Ding.
Fire-breathing pointy thing that knights use.
Dragonlance.
Ding.
Mordor. Lord of the Rings.
Ding. You're out of time. Nice job. You got 3. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. The one you passed on was Chronicles of Narnia, and you didn't get the First Law or Harry Potter. All right. So you scored 3 there, bringing your total to 10.
Wow.
All right. Let's go back to, how about we go to the Majestic Griffins right now for round 2? So you're going to be Pokemon. You have no choice. Ready?
Who's going up? Oh, there's a volunteer. Where did I leave off? Okay.
All right. So while you choose your clues, these are types of Pokemon. Types of Pokemon. No, it's not going to make you name actual Pokemon. That would be hardcore. That would be the second edition of this game. Are we ready? Are you feeling better about this?
Do I use 2 hands?
All right, here we go. I can't even name Pokemon. All right, here we go. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Set? Are you ready? Go.
Cold water.
Water?
Cold water.
Ice?
Yeah, ding.
It will jolt you.
Electric.
Ding.
The opposite of earth or fire.
Water?
Ding.
It grows green in the fields.
Grass.
Ding.
It's a metal.
Steel.
Ding.
You can predict things.
Psychic.
Ding. Wow, 30 seconds. Woo! Wow, that was very impressive.
That just goes to show how little I know about Pokemon.
Right.
Where was Pikachu in that list? See, I don't know that.
He wasn't that list. So
What's that?
Griffins,
Yeah, right.
make a comeback. You guys just scored a perfect 6. You're now at 8. All right, we got one more board so that everybody has an equal number of turns, and we're going to go to the final round, all right? So here is the next board.
Don't give away anything. Just imagine all the cool sound effects.
I know. The categories this round are: how many bumps on their forehead? Joss is demand. I left it in the TARDIS. Now you're wielding with power. I'd put my 18 there, and he died last episode. So whose turn is it now? We're back to, it's going to be, let's go with the P-Rexes. Are you guys ready, P-Rex? All right. Choose your category, guys.
Contemplation going on.
A lot of big choices here. What do you think the Star Trek category is? I don't even know.
Okay, they're saying no to the bumpy forehead. A lot of fans of Joss Whedon. Dollhouse.
Right.
Oh, they're going
30
old
seconds,
school.
quick category.
Okay. So you're going with Joss is the man.
Joss is the man.
Who's going up?
Choice?
There we go. She even watched Dollhouse.
Joss is the man. All right, I love it. Joss is the man. These are shows involving Joss Whedon. Ready?
In which he is involved, I would assume.
Yes.
There's not a lot of shows that involve him.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
Things he made, essentially.
Where'd we leave
Are we
off?
ready?
That's like 4.
Okay.
Are we ready? Here we go. All right. Ready? Go.
Comes from heaven.
Angel.
Ding.
Pass.
Spaceships.
Firefly.
Ding.
Eliza Duke-Shoe.
Pass.
Pass. Whoa.
Neil Patrick Harris musical.
Dr. Horrible sing-along vlog.
Killing people that suck blood.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, I had a typo. Sorry. Go.
The Avengers, Agent Coulson.
Oh, you said agent. Sorry. Done.
Oh.
So you missed Dollhouse. You passed on Dollhouse.
Dollhouse. Yeah.
You got 4. All right, that was P-Rex, right?
That was, yes.
P-Rex got 4. They're at 9. All right, McNordigan's Orphans.
McNerdigan's Orphans. They need the board.
Back to the board. What do you guys like?
I'd put my 18 there.
I'd put my 18
I think I know what
there.
that category is.
All right. Here we go.
What
the category is Dungeons and Dragons stat spots.
Okay. We guessed it
Where
right.
did I
though.
leave off? You were the last one.
Are we ready? Look, I was bemoaning earlier. I had to have 2 D&D categories because let's be honest, right? I mean, the Gen Con started with Dungeons and Dragons, even though Wizards is no longer here, which is sort of weird. But anyway, all right. Are you ready? I'd put my 18 there. These are D&D stats. Are you ready? Here we go. Go.
Endurance.
Constitution.
Ding.
How street language.
Wisdom.
Ding. Pretty good.
How good looking you are.
Charisma.
Ding.
How quickly you can move?
Dexterity.
Ding.
Smart you are.
Intellect.
Ding.
Intelligence. Sorry, wrong game. Strength.
How much you can lift.
All right, that may have been a softball. An easy 6.
Master of the category.
All right, there you go. Nice.
Answers before the clue. I know.
That was the Orphan.
Very impressive.
They're at a perfect 10 now. So back down to round 3 for the Wolves. Last round for each team coming up here. So Wolves, what are you going to pick for a category?
I love how they're naming him Star Trek.
He died last episode.
He died last episode.
And you find out what the category means.
Yeah. First of all, this has spoilers. Second of all,
Spoiler alert.
This is characters who have died at least once in the Game of Thrones. Characters who've died at least once.
So you're going to have to guess at least
Game
5 of
Thrones.
them. Because he
Right.
basically just gave away one.
All right. This does have spoilers for those here and listening at home.
Here he comes. Okay.
You don't have to worry about that. You just got to guess names. All right. Are you ready?
Who did I...
You guys ready,
Back
Wolves?
This way?
All right, here we go. And getting my timer ready here. And go.
He's very noble, and he dies right away.
Stark.
There's many of those.
Eddard Stark.
Yes, ding.
Bastard son.
Ramsay Bolton.
The other bastard son.
John Wolfe. John Snow.
Ding.
Old guy, lots of money, lion.
Lannister. Sorry. Tywin.
Ding.
He likes to open doors.
Hodor.
Ding.
Blonde, you hate him. He was king for a while. Real jerk. House Lion.
It's not Jaime Lannister. It
On the
is
tip of his tongue.
pass.
Time's up. Time is up. You got 4. You missed Joffrey. You missed Joffrey. I was spoiling the other ones. Ramsey was in there, though, and you did guess him earlier. All right. Sorry for the spoilers, people. So Team Wolf.
Sorry, Matthew.
So the score to beat now is 14 because Team Wolf's done their 3 rounds. And they have 14. All right. Who do we want to go with next? Who wants to be the next round? Anybody? Me battle cry. Quick. Who's fastest? All right. Sounds like the Majestic Griffins are going again.
Sort of like a sick Majestic Shoulder Griffin, but that's okay.
All right. Majestic Griffins. What do you like for a category?
Bumps on the forehead.
All right, here we go. These are Star Trek races.
Oh.
Races found in Star Trek.
All right, here we go. Where did I leave off? Coming back. Okay.
All right. Are we ready? Don't forget, talk close to those microphones. Talk really close.
No, you were up there. Right?
Are we ready? Are we ready? Here we go. How many bumps in the forehead? Star Trek factions. Here we go now.
Worf.
Klingon.
Ding.
Spock.
Vulcan.
Ding.
You will be assimilated.
Borg.
Ding.
Quark. No.
Cardassians.
No. Big ears. The bartender of Deep Space Nine.
Ferengi.
Ding.
Like Kim, but not Kim, but of the Star Trek world.
What?
Like Kim, Courtney, or whatever, but
Cardassian.
Ding.
Pass. Dominion.
Cousins of Vulcans. Cousins of Vulcans.
It's not the Dominion. It's
Time, unfortunately, time. You missed Romulans on the end there.
5 out of 6.
Yeah, not too bad. 5 out of 6. Well done. That was Team Majestic Griffins. Got 5. So they are at 13. So Team Wolf still in the lead. Let's go to P-Rex, see if you guys can beat them. P-Rex, what's your category going to be? You got 2 left.
They're going to go with Now You're Wielding with Power.
Now You're Wielding with Power. All right. Anybody want to guess what that category is going to be?
Oh, they think it's Star Wars, Russ.
Oh, that's an excellent guess, but wrong.
Oh!
That's also an excellent guess, but also wrong. No, these are famous swords. Famous swords.
Ouch. Oh, a switch on you.
Coming up with famous swords is a little tricky, I'm not going to lie, for 6 of them. I'm not going to lie.
Who's good with weaponry?
All right.
All right. By default.
No pressure. Where did I leave off?
All right.
Did you or you didn't? Oh.
Are we ready?
Excalibur.
Where am I? I'm going here.
Apparently it's me.
That's all I got.
Are we ready?
Let me move this so I don't.
All right. Starting the time. Here we go. Now You're Wielding with Power. Famous swords. Get ready, Adam. Here we go. Go.
King Arthur and
Excalibur.
Ding.
Lord of the Rings. Hobbit.
Oh, Sting?
Yes.
Ding.
Pass.
Pass.
It's a Blade blank prophecy. Blade something prophecy. That's all I got.
I had no idea. Pass?
Pass. Okay, they passed on that one.
Momoron. Oh, okay.
The new one.
Use it for sewing.
Needle.
Ding.
It's a blade that has fire.
Master Sword?
Pass.
Pass.
If you set something on fire, it's considered to be, and there's
Blazing sword?
Yes, ding.
Luke Skywalker.
Lightsaber?
Ding. You only missed one. Wait, Adam, don't look. Adam, would you have gotten sight beyond sight? Sight beyond sight. Thundercats. Sword of Omens was the one you missed. So was it? Yep. Nicely done. That was a tough category. Good job. Good job, team. All right.
Okay.
So that was Team P-Rex?
Yep.
They got all but one. Nice job. 5 points.
Tied.
Tied with 14. Tough round here. All right, but McNerdigan's Orphans here.
Okay. It's yours to lose. No pressure.
So McNerdigan's, if you score 5 or more, you are going to go into the final round where your entire team, if you win, will get first choice from the big prize pool there, and then everybody else gets everything else. So here we go, McNerdigan's, guys. Big chance here. The last category is, of course, I left it in the TARDIS. What do you guys think this category would be? Doctor Who. It's things that Doctor Who might be carrying. Things Doctor Who might be carrying. Or you left in the TARDIS.
Okay. And where am I starting? Starting here, going this way, and you're going to pass automatically? I would too.
All right. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Have we got a good Whovian in the chair over there? Are you feeling good about this? His thumbs up. I got a thumbs up from the Doctor fan. Here we go. All right. Things I left in the TARDIS. And go.
Famous tool.
A sonic screwdriver.
Ding.
He wiggles it.
Bow tie.
Oh, he did pantomime. Nice.
Let you see what he wants you to see. Book that opens up. Shows it to you.
His wallet, his IDs, his badge, his invisible badge. I forgot. A pass.
Yes, that.
You passed it.
Pass.
What?
Okay. You put this on your bread for breakfast. It's made of fruit.
Gel, jam.
Okay, and then
butter.
A young human is
Jam chop.
A newborn human is one of these.
I don't even know what to say. Fast.
All right.
You wear it in the winter to keep yourself cold, warm.
A coat
around the neck.
Oh, a scarf.
Ding. Time's up.
Ooh.
All right. You guys got? How many did they get? You got 4, right? 3. They got 3. Oh, so you missed Jelly Baby, and Psychic Paper was the other one. The badge, Psychic Paper,
And K9.
And we didn't get the K9.
Right.
Yes, K9 also. All right. So here's the scoop, guys. Psychic Paper's from the new Doctor series, but almost all of them use it. All right. So they scored 3, which means now that was a well played, guys. So only one team can go on to the final round, unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
So we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have a cheer off between the Team P-Rex and Team Wolf. All right. So P-Rex, where are you guys? All right. And Team Wolf. All right. Okay. So let's hear Team P-Rex's cheer. Actually. Team Wolf. All right, Nicole, what do you think? Yep. Oh, the Wolves have it. All right,
I should have
Team
stepped
Wolf.
up for you. That she likes wolves. What are you going to do?
Here's how this works, guys. So in this last round of Pyramid, how it works is the person guessing now has to guess the category. And we're going to go around the team, and they're going to give you things that would fit into that category. So, for example, if your team started saying seashells, seaweed, sand, you might guess things on the bottom of the ocean. That would be the category. So you're trying to guess these. If you get all 7 of them, your team wins full choice on all the prizes that are left. All right? Sound good? So the categories could be anything related to gaming, and you get no clue here because this is the big power round. All right? So go ahead and talk amongst yourself as to who is going to be your clue guesser.
They're very stony-faced. All of a sudden, everything is on the line. There he goes. He's got his game face on.
You ready?
I'm ready. Okay. Where did I leave off? Right here.
All right, no.
All right, so do
You're
I have
not
to?
$20,000, unfortunately. Too bad, too. I wish I could give you that much. You do get some lovely parting gifts, though.
Do I have to start at the bottom? Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Are you guys ready? You're going to have
Ready.
60 seconds on the clock. Are you ready? Here we go. Imagine the awesome music in the background. I'll have to put it in later in post. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, we'll fix that in post. Are you guys ready to give clues? The same deal. You can pass on this side. If you pass clue guesser, we move on. Okay? Here we go. And you can come back to it if you want. All right, ready, set, go.
Turning invisible, teleporting, picking up really heavy things.
Yes.
Pass.
Mario, Luigi.
Nintendo characters. Super Mario Brothers. Give me some more.
Dovahkiin.
Pass.
All right.
Doom Marine. Halo guys. We're done. Sorry. AT-AT. ATST. TIE Fighter.
Ships and vehicles in the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
Magneto.
Super villains.
Yes. Nice job.
Pass.
We gotta go mine. Let's drink some ale.
Dwarves.
Elves suck.
Dwarvish feelings. The dwarf culture.
I'll give it to you. Things a dwarf might say. Go ahead.
Okay.
Flame, ice,
Elements.
poison gas,
Spells. Magical
lightning,
spells.
Acid,
Types of damage.
dragons.
Monster.
All right, time's up, unfortunately. Good try. So the two you guys missed were types of breath weapons, and you passed on video game characters. You were close, but they gave you all Nintendo. So good try. So what we'll do is, since you got 4 of them, why don't we take the first 4 clue givers that got it right, go get a prize along with the guesser. Yes, whoever you haven't got a prize on that team yet, you guys can get prizes.
Everybody got a prize?
Okay, good. Well, then why don't you guys,
that's true, yeah.
True guesser, you get a big one, and then we'll go ahead and, based on team order, why don't you guys line up and go and pick your favorite prizes there from the final counts. So that was, the final scores were, let me bring that back up here real quick. So it would mean that Team Wolf gets the first choice, and then second will be Team P-Rex, and then Majestic Shoulder Griffins and McNerdigan's Orphans. Why don't you guys go up and pick some prizes? Thank you for playing, everybody. You guys did a great job. Nice job, everyone. Please help yourself to all the prizes. You can't take all those things home. So please help.
This show notice is brought to you by all of our fine friends over at Patreon. These are the folks who are helping us keep the lights on, keep our wives off our backs, and keep this show going. Today, I would like to start with the Ben Brigade, or continue with the Ben Brigade, including Ben Watt, Benjamin, just plain Benjamin, Benjamin Gaeta, Bill Alexander, and Bill Tegler. Oddly enough, there's only 2 Bills. Anyway, thanks, guys, and thank all of you who help us keep the show going. We really do appreciate it, and it lets us do all this cool stuff that we can then bring back to you, talk to all these people that will talk to us because of you, and really, it's a symbiotic relationship that we owe all to all of you. So thanks. Do you ever notice how far in life some people can get without picking up even the most common decency? There's a whole grammar issue there, and that was just going to keep going off the rails. So I'm just going to say that they don't pick up any common decency. And of course, this being the Gen Con episode, what I'm referring to is those folks who are in that jam-packed vendor hall not aware of anyone else around them. So the issue, as I see it, is you need to understand what the vendor hall is all about. It's filled with awesome things to look at. Everybody wants to look at it, and everybody wants to get to all of the different places they want to get. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you do that with some 20,000 people churning through a space that was really comfortable with about 2,000 people? And if you want to see the difference there, some of my Twitter pictures at D6G Craig, I believe, I took pictures before they opened the doors and after they opened the doors on one of the days, and it's just insane. So the key is getting from point A to point B as quickly as you can, or as slow as you want to without inconveniencing others. And part of that, you cannot do that. You cannot do that when you are dragging behind you wheeled carry-ons. Okay? I don't know what you got in there that's so important it couldn't either stay at your hotel or stay with a friend or whatever. But seriously, you need to plan your day better than to wheel stuff through the vendor hall. Okay? Because it's insane the number of times I barked my shins on other people's carry-ons because they're just dragging them behind them, doubling their footprint. Doubling or even more. Some of them were huge. It's insane. We are all packed in there together. We're all working together to try to get to where each one of us wants to be. That's the whole point. Okay? So periscoping as you're walking, so you're not paying attention, you're bumping into people. Anything that causes you to bump into people, unless, of course, they stop short in front of you in the middle of a place, in the middle of the walkway, or my personal favorite, at an intersection, well, then you're going to bump into them and there's nothing much you could have done about it. But if you're walking at a normal pace and you're still bumping into people, and it's not because of a medical condition or something along those lines, or distracted by some sort of strange cosplay event, then something is wrong. If it's your phone that's causing you to do that, don't walk through the vendor hall talking to your phone as it's fully extended out in front of you, hitting other people in the head. All right? Just don't do it. Don't do it. And Pokemon, here's the deal with Pokemon, guys. You don't actually have to jump on that Pokemon right where you see it. Okay? He's going to be there within 20 yards of where you're standing. You don't have to go into the street to catch a Pokemon. You don't have to jump through the crowd. You don't have to chase anything on your phone. No need. Okay? No need. You should be aware of the people around you as much as they should be aware of you. It is a social contract where everybody working together sees that everybody gets where they're going as quickly as possible without the frustrations, but slow. If you want to, walk along the side and take in the sights, that's awesome. Do that. Or stop in a little corner area and look at the sights around you, but do not rubberneck at half normal pace as you're going through. Those walkways are for walking. Okay? Now, I tried to luggage shame some folks. Now, I'm actually kind of a coward at heart, so it's not like I was going to actually post pictures of people with their luggage, but I took pictures of them, and then I cropped them out so you can just see the luggage, and I did that more as a joke than anything else, and I liked the term luggage shaming, but in the end, you need to be aware that there are people around you and everybody's working together to try to have the best con they can. You need to work with them, and they need to work with you. And if that all works together, then even though we've got 20,000 people or more jammed into that one room, we're all going to be okay. Because as soon as you start not caring about other people around you and caring about your experience above theirs, that's when we all start to have problems. That's when the situation all starts to fall apart. That's when I bark my shin and end up swearing in front of a little child. And I don't like swearing in front of little children. It makes me angry. I didn't actually swear in front of little children. I've got more control over that. But still, you get the point. The main thing that I was going to discuss is the passing of John McLaughlin, the host and founder and creator of the McLaughlin Group, which, of course, is what Rapid Fire is entirely based on. It was very sad, his passing, and I have agonized over how to address it. I think I've come up with something, and I've decided not to do it with the Did You Ever Notice? But that's where my brain has been for the last 5 days. And then all of a sudden, Russ was like, where's Did You Ever Notice? And I was like, oh my God, I got to do a Did You Ever Notice? And so what you got was what was churning through my head during Gen Con. I figured that made sense. It's a Gen Con episode. But if my anger seems somewhat fabricated or disingenuous, it's probably because I've moved on. And my shins have healed, and c'est la vie. Still, though, seriously, the carry-ons, they've got to stop. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about this. Thank you again for listening and for supporting the show and hanging in there till the very end. Top secret info. Tomorrow I will have finished knock on wood, I'm going to curse myself, the final chapter in the first draft of my next book. So, just you guys know that. All right. That's all I've got for now. Thanks for listening, and good night.
Achievement unlocked! You've made it to the end of another D6 Generation episode, the podcast whose humor has universally been acclaimed as not too horrible. Please let us know what you thought of the show by either emailing us at info@the d6generation.com or by posting in our official D6G episode thread at the top of the DACA discussions forum on DACADACA.com. If for some inexplicable reason you actually enjoyed this show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, and happy gaming.
The theme from Total Fangirl comes from the soundtrack of The Last Night on Earth, the zombie game, courtesy of Flying Frog Productions, and is a composition of Mary Beth Magalanes.
From Television City in Hollywood, this is the $25,000 Pyramid. Today's special guests are Vicki Lawrence and LeVar Burton. Your host is Dick Clark.
Thank you, Roddy. We welcome you on a Friday to the $25,000 Pyramid, and I've just had a minor disaster occur. I was about to walk out here, and I dropped my button. Vicki, would you sew my button on?
In your dreams, Dickie.